What's up?
Make sure to unmute us this time.
I did.
Okay.
Are we not unmuted? We are unmuted.
We
you made me nervous for no
we
reason.
We messed that up last week.
You made me nervous for no reason.
There was a good reason. We were muted last week.
Oh, what is up, everyone? It's time for another Tim and Katie live stream with special guest. Are you ready? Backstage. 3, 2, 1.
She better be ready.
Ha!
There she is.
Hello.
What's going on? We have Kaylee in from Fantasmic Fandoms. If you've been watching our channel for a while, this will come as no surprise. Welcome, Kaylee.
Welcome
Hello.
back.
Welcome. Yes, welcome again. Most of our
Glad to be
vlogs
back.
for the last several weeks have been Kaylee vlogs. Who is in? We got Mandy.
Hi, Mandy.
We've got, I assume, Chad. And we've got Vanessa.
Hello, Chad and Vanessa.
And thank you, Mandy, for
Yes,
the congratulations. That was a long haul. That was a long, long road to 1,000 subscribers. We love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for the support. And we're just getting started because our busiest season is right around the corner, which is why, perfect segue, before we go anywhere else, please make sure to follow our socials. Real Tim and Katie on Instagram because someone had already thieved away the Tim and Katie username. Tim and Katie on Facebook. We are going to be doing something special for Facebook after this live stream. I've got a little clip we're going to air tonight, which will look a lot better on Facebook than it does on this live stream. Because I had to make it pretty low quality to be able to upload onto StreamYard. But on Facebook, you will get that clip after the fact as a little tease of some of the stuff we did. It will not appear on YouTube, so make sure you're following. And then Tim and Katie, the website, where we sometimes post opinions. It's getting less and less impressive the further we stay behind. But yeah, also, make sure to subscribe to all of Kaylee's channels. Bada bing. Nope. That's not this stupid thing. I swear to goodness.
JK, just us.
JK. Really? Tell us about your
Just kidding.
channel while I convince the computer to take this live picture.
It's okay.
Well,
that was your cue.
good talk.
Kaylee, you want to tell us what's going on with your channel while we flounder over here?
It's okay. Well, I actually just posted the first Tennessee vlog today. It was from when we ate at Sawyer's Farmhouse Restaurant. It was really good. So I have that short little vlog. I also have another vlog I'm going to try to get up this week and one for next week as well. So I'm kind of on it with these Gatlinburg ones. Surprisingly I am.
Well, that waitress at Sawyer's was looking forward to that one.
She was. I couldn't. That's why I had to put that one first because I felt the pressure on that one a little bit. But I do actually have a California vlog that is coming out. It actually will be the one probably coming out later this week. So I'm excited to still get the California vlogs out, but some of them are going to be longer because like we went to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, so it's a little bit more to edit.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Tell
They'll
me
be
about
coming out soon.
Tell me about
Yes.
those vlogs. We didn't shoot as much as we wanted to shoot in California because I got sick, but those vlogs still took me forever. Tennessee vlogs didn't take that much longer. So guys, Fantasmic Kaylee on Instagram. Well, Fantasmic.Kaylee is her solo account. And then you also own Phantasmic Fandoms on Instagram, but I think Phantasmic Fandoms is primarily the YouTube channel, right?
Yes, it's just like to. Sometimes I put stuff on there to promote for the YouTube, but I'm not like super active on that Instagram. I mostly just wanted to save that handle.
Yeah, that's a good one. There, have it, not need it, then need it, not have it.
Yes.
And
yes.
Hopco on Etsy, her storefront's doing pretty well, you guys. We bought some stickers not long ago, and we'll probably buy some more.
Katie always like surprises me every time I like run into her. I'm like, oh wait, I sold that.
You recognize this?
You did it. All right, guys. I think I've got this working. If not, we'll be very disappointed in 3, 2, 1. No, we did it. All right. StreamYard has been really struggling with the slideshows, guys. I apologize in advance. It is not going to stay in sync, but we'll do our best. So we are talking tonight about our grand Tennessee trip that we took with our friend Kaylee here. Oops, sorry. We're very close together. We went to, where did we go? Where did we go in total? We went to Pigeon Forge, the island, and then we went all over Pigeon Forge elsewhere, and then we did Dollywood and Gatlinburg.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Gatlinburg in between.
Yeah. Because Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge are relatively close together, although that particular day that we decided to go into Gatlinburg, it was a lot further away in terms of time because of a landslide. But that we'll get to that. There's stories all over the place tonight.
There's so much.
There's a lot to talk about. I do want to shout out our two that just joined. Magical by Sarah is dialing in from the UK, which we greatly appreciate. We're always so flattered when anyone joins from the UK because I know it's like the middle of the night there. So hey, Sarah. And Sarah just posted her trip announcement. She is going to Disneyland Paris multiple times next year, this year, and back to Disney World and on the Disney Wish in the coming year. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming from her channel. Then we have Jamie and Ari from Keeping Up in Disney. Welcome to the stream, guys. I know they have been looking forward to some Dollywood vlogs. I'm sorry, it's going to be a little while longer, but I am going to, the Tennessee vlogs are going to start creeping out this week.
We did more than just Dollywood.
We did more than just Dollywood, but Dollywood is going to be our closing act. I promise I'm not going to interrupt them this time like I did with the California vlogs. I just had so much to get to this summer that I wanted to like keep things relevant. But this trip, I'm going to try to leak out like consistently 1 or 2 a week of just Tennessee vlogs so that we'll have something to keep everyone in their seats. No, Sarah, you are the best. On to adventure. All right, we're going to try not to run too long this time. I've said it before. I'll probably say it again.
I'm not making any promises.
Every time thus far, it's been a lie, but we're going to try. So where we went in Tennessee. First of all, we went down to Alabama. It's our very first time in the state of Alabama to pick up dear friend Kaylee. It's a long haul for her to get to Tennessee independently, and it seemed mean to make her drive all that way without a buddy, since we are the travel buddies in question. So instead of flying into Birmingham, which we've had troubles with before, not us personally, but just getting Kaylee out of Birmingham, which is a very small airport, without any delays or cancellations, we decided
flying right now is a disaster.
It's a mess. It's a mess. So we decided to just cut out the middleman, rent a car, and drive down. It was about, I think it totaled 13 hours going down, but we split it halfway through by staying. Katie owns a cabin.
I think it was 11 hours.
No, it was 11 and a half if we made no stops, but it was 13 total. I can't.
We stopped somewhere near Harrisonburg. We stopped overnight in Harrisonburg to shave off 2.5 hours of a trip.
We did. And we made it into Alabama much earlier than expected because we woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and just decided to hit the road. And by the time Kaylee was awake, we were in Tennessee.
Yeah. I messaged them and I was like, oh, hey, how's the first hour going, guys? And they're like,
actually,
we've been on the road for some time now.
There is a time change too, traveling to Alabama that doesn't exist.
So we told her we'll be there at 3:30, and then like 2 hours before we got there, it's like actually
2:30.
We're gonna be there at 2:30.
Yeah,
sorry.
We were close by the time we realized the time zone was going to change on us because the GPS doesn't account for that when you're driving. It does on the app, but it didn't. We were plugged into the car, and the car wasn't syncing with the app, so It was. We made it there in plenty of time. I think we got a tour of Kaylee, and they put us up for the night. The following day is when we got together in the rental and headed out towards Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. It took us about
5 hours.
Yeah, about
We actually
5 hours.
only made
one stop. One stop at the Tennessee Welcome Center just to use the bathroom and look at attractions.
and grab some
actually,
coupons.
that's why the Ripley's Aquarium in Gatlinburg was added to the list of things we wanted to do, because I saw a big, huge, I saw a picture of the tubes that you could walk through like at SeaWorld, and I was like, oh, our aquarium doesn't have one of those. I want to do that. And so we did. But yeah.
I also want to say that Kaylee definitely said it was a cool aquarium. It wasn't like we
I
came up
didn't
with
disagree.
the concept.
We have a pretty neat aquarium in Baltimore. If you're not familiar with the Baltimore area, the National Aquarium is located in Baltimore, and it is pretty well maintained. It's very cool. It's got a lot of interactive exhibits. So it's not that I didn't think the aquarium was cool, Kaylee. It's just that we have an aquarium at home, and I was like, are we going to see any fish that I can't see at home? I don't know. So, but it wound up being really, really cool. We'll get to that a little bit later. So
we did eventually get to Pigeon Forge.
We did eventually get to Pigeon Forge. The slides are not functioning again. Hold one moment.
Wow. It's going to be a little pain,
This
isn't
is
it?
how it's going to be tonight. I swear. This is going to be a fun
All these lives, it's been fine. And the last two, it's kicking our butts.
I don't think it's us. I think it is the StreamYard, or maybe it's the computer. I don't know. It's very difficult to tell. Technical difficulties are a thing. So this is our first resort. This was the Margaritaville Island Hotel. Let me pull us off of here real quick, if I remember how. I remember how. Boop. So the Margaritaville Island Hotel in Pigeon Forge was our first stop, and we actually stayed here for 3 nights in a fountain view room. I don't have pictures here of the fountain view from the room, but I do have pictures of the resort.
We never took a fountain view picture?
We took hundreds of fountain view videos, but those are all embedded in vlogs. So I could show a video clip, or I could just show you the vlog in like 2 days, which is what I'm going to do.
I guess so. Look for the view in our
There will
vlogs.
be plenty of views from this balcony embedded in our vlogs. But we did stay at the Margaritaville Island Hotel in Pigeon Forge, which Kaylee was the one who recommended this to us as a must-do. And I thought that meant that she had been here before and had lots of good things to say about it. And I was like, sure, why not? But then we got there. What was your reaction, Kay?
Well, okay, first off, I never said I'd stayed here. Okay, I did not. I said I had been to the island. Well, okay, I guess it was implied. I had been to the island a few times, and I really loved the look of it. I loved the fountain view. I said I thought it would be so cool, and it was always my dream to go there. And I feel like I had told Tim it had always been my dream, but we get there, and Tim's like, "You stayed here, right?" And I'm like, "No, I've never stayed here." But it was kind of tricky. So when we went in, we went in from the strip, and the only 2 times I've been to the island, I come from the back way. And so I didn't know it had an entrance on the strip, and I'm seeing this hotel, which it still looks like a really nice hotel, but was not what I had in my brain. And I'm like, oh no, Tim did the wrong hotel. But honestly,
the thing is that you didn't say that.
You were just going,
no, I was freaking out on the
your mind when we drove past the Margaritaville Island Inn, which is right smack next to the Island Hotel, but it's not the Island Hotel, and it's right out on the strip where we were making the turn. I literally from the back seat, I hear Kaylee go, "Wait." Okay. She just stifled it down, the disappointment is setting in, but I can't say anything because they did their best.
I wouldn't have said anything except for when we found the proper one. I was like, I'm so relieved, guys. I would have just not said anything, but
I knew what I was doing when I booked. I just didn't know how to get there. So I mapped it, and the map took us through the strip, and then the left turn was right at the street corner where the Margaritaville Island Inn was.
It is definitely not visible from the street because it's only really two floors, and it's stretched out long because it takes a lot of the island up.
It's built into the island.
It is. It's a part of
this is
it.
hotel, but down here
Are
there's shops. This is all part of the island
Yeah.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
So like you can't tell that it's a hotel until you're in it.
Yeah, there's no like skyrise or anything. It's just
It's not a Hilton.
we just showed
It's
up
way
and all of a
better.
sudden it was like valet and we're like, oh, I guess we're here.
Yeah.
So
But having said that, it was once you actually got like in there. First of all, valet was $20 a day. So when we pulled up, we were like, I don't really understand the system, but I don't really feel like dealing with it. Here's $20, and they took the car. And I was like, if we decide it's overpriced, we'll just not do it tomorrow. But we wound up doing it for all 3 days that we were there, and I think maybe the 4th day too when we checked out, because we actually had someone came up. Bell service came up to the room, loaded everything on a cart, and pulled a car around. So I assume we paid for that day too. I honestly don't do the math when I look at receipts. So like, it's really easy to take advantage of me when I'm checking out of a place. Like if someone says I charge $500 to the room, I probably charge $500 to the room. I'll take your word for it, whatever. But yeah, so they took our car, they parked it in a lot that is actually quite close, as opposed to the other lot where I think, Kaylee, you and your grandmother had been parking, and where we parked when we came back to the island one more time before we left. And that was, we were advertised a 3 to 5 minute walk, and it was not.
I think it was a 5 to 7 minute walk. It was not a 15-minute walk. It was not a long walk.
Well, with luggage, it would have taken longer.
Yes. Luggage, the fact that we got our luggage out of the car and brought it to the room for us was peace. That's perfect.
I hear a Cappy.
Sorry.
There may or may not be a dog.
There's no need to apologize. Cappy is welcome in the chat.
Yeah. Cappy loves you guys. If he knew I was talking to y'all, he'd be so happy.
I think he knows. That's why we're having the barks. So, do we want to talk about like the good, the bad, and the ugly here of the Margaritaville? I mean, I do want to kind of touch on this briefly because we spent a lot of time here. I would say the rooftop pool, if there was any, I made a list here of the good, the bad, and the ugly. If there was any darkness to the Margaritaville Island Hotel, I would just say the pool was a little bit small.
It was small.
For the number of people.
And the hot tub was small.
The hot tub was definitely small. The hot tub.
The pool, like rooftop itself, was spacious.
It was so cool.
Plenty of seating. There was cornhole, the bar, cabanas.
And during the day, I would say it was not a poppin' spot. Like, I feel like a lot of people didn't even know it was there. But during the night, which is when you want to go because it's not as hot.
And also watching the fountain at night.
Right. It's just small enough that, like, even if not a whole lot of people know that it's there, it still gets pretty busy.
Right. And you throw a couple kids in there with their beach balls and toys, and it becomes a completely different experience.
And the hot tub is it's really only designed to accommodate probably 7 to 8 people.
Right.
And there were like 10 people trying to pack in there.
Yeah.
So we didn't get much time in the hot tub.
When we were lucky.
We made up for that later, but at this particular resort, that would be my one gripe, is that it wasn't quite big enough for the pool area. The rooms, much to the contrary.
Spacious.
Huge. Biggest room I think I've ever stayed in. And this was like a 2-queen standard room. Well, it's not standard because it's Fountain View, but I can't imagine that
But I think it's the standard for the...
Yeah, I think the size...
Yeah. I actually saw like some of the other rooms like passing through to do my resort tour thing, and like they were about the same size. They were all about the same size.
You didn't have like a suite or anything. Like it was just a room.
Yeah.
Plenty of storage. Like there was not like Disney level under the bed storage, but like your footstools at the end of the bed could at least handle like a few small bags. There was storage under like the bedside tables where you could definitely fit like a big suitcase under there. You can kind of see the closet on the other side of the fireplace. There's a fireplace, which this is a year-round resort.
But
the fireplace is turned on like I think in October through May or something like that. So if you're here for like the non-summer season, that could be a really nice thing to have in your room as well. The closet was pretty spacious. I think we fit 3 big suitcases and 1 small bag in there. Yeah. So definitely worth the space. And if you're traveling with, we're 3 adults, so we did take up a little bit more room. If you have kids with you, or you're traveling like 2 couples or whatever, I think there is plenty of space in that.
I think, I mean, little spoiler here, but I think that if you're traveling as a large group or a family that's trying to make the most of your space, your money is well spent at the Margaritaville Island Hotel over some of the other prominent hotels in the area. Because you guys will see when we do our resort tour video, which is obviously the resort tours take a little bit longer to edit than the standard vlogs. So that one's coming. It's going to be on the later side of this trip set, but it's so much, it's more space than I think we're used to having. And the 3 of us, when we went to California, we stayed in many, many, many hotels. And even Disneyland Hotel was much smaller in terms of available space than what the Margaritaville Resort offered. Now, because of that, another possible downside is that the room is something of an echo chamber. So late at night, you can hear a little bit of what's going, especially if you're fountain facing. The actual island closes down around 11 p.m. Shops stop serving food at 10. So they're trying to gradually usher people out, but there's an escape room complex directly beneath your feet where we were staying, at least. And, we would occasionally hear like 11 p.m. people come out hooting and hollering, yeah, we did it. And
I never heard it. I was asleep.
No, you fell asleep pretty early. But I'm just throwing it in there as a potential. I'm trying to be very critical for those who are planning a trip. But I can't recommend the Margaritaville.
If you're going
Island
to
Hotel
spend,
enough.
if you want to do stuff on the island.
It's not cheap. It was like $500 a night.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do
but-
stuff on the island and you don't, and you might be facing what we faced, which was scattered thunderstorms the entire week, all day. It was a great place to stay. Just the fact that we could go run and do a couple of our activities and be like, well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom back in our hotel room and not have to use public restrooms. It was like really nice.
And that's actually why we didn't want to do a cabin.
No, there was actually a few reasons.
There was a couple reasons why, but yeah.
Kaylee can probably, who has stayed in cabins, talk about the pros and cons of doing a cabin. I know plenty of people do that, and that's what they do every time they go to Pigeon Forge.
I've done a cabin every other time. There's only been like twice I've ever been and not gone in a cabin. Like majority of the time I've been in cabins. And there are like pros and cons, and I feel like at some point in your life, you probably need to stay in a cabin. But I also feel like it's less convenient. You do have to drive a lot more for a lot of them. And not to be negative, we went we went right before they had the fire. And like there were people who didn't get out of cabins in that fire. And that's a scary thing. And personally, my grandmother, who has always been a big cabin person, has said she don't ever want to go back and stay in a cabin on the mountain because a lot of those drives are really rough. Also, like if you're going in the winter, it's rough. Like there's just rough things that come associated with that. But it is a great experience to stay in a cabin. It's just I do think it's different. It's a different experience a little bit when you're not, but it is much more convenient if you stay like we did.
It depends on what you want to do. Like if you're there to go hike, like maybe a cabin is more your thing anyway.
Or for the scenery.
If you just want to escape.
Yeah,
if you want an escape,
Yeah.
we were literally doing things all day, every day, which was what we went there to do. And I mean, Kaylee brings up like all the points I would bring up about staying in the cabin. I mean, I have a cabin, not in Pigeon Forge, but with my family, and there's similar issues. Thankfully, the drive to get there is not too bad, but you never know when you're going to be, your cabin's like at the tippy top and you're driving all the way up there on like some scary.
You don't know where it's going to be. Sometimes we've gotten cabins and they'll have like this little map. And I remember going up one before. It was like this random road. And we literally were like this going up this road. It was the tightest road because a lot of these cabins, you have no idea where they're at until you get there. And then you're like, let's just hope it's not in a really crazy location.
We passed by so many like cabin rental places and they're right off the road. That's where you get the keys.
Yeah, the
and
caboose
stuff.
Airbnb.
Yeah, but Kaylee's right,
rather.
and you see, and part of me was kind of like, oh, look at how cool the view would be, or look how pretty that one is. But we really had no regrets about where we stayed. I think in the end, for what we wanted to do. Yes,
there are bears up there.
Some bears.
There's bears. You do have to be responsible.
Most of the cabins do have locks on the trash cans and stuff, so you just kind of have to be careful with that. And they usually will tell you like certain things to be aware of with bears, but there definitely are a lot up there in the mountains. Yeah, so
I will say too, the way we do things is rarely the cheapest way. Like if you're trying to be like cost efficient, probably staying on the island.
If I was going to Pigeon Forge with like 8 friends, I think a cabin would definitely.
Yeah, Vanessa also said that.
Yeah, groups.
For groups, it can be a lot cheaper.
Than getting 3 hotel rooms or whatnot.
And to be fair, it would have made some kind of sense to rent a cabin since we had already rented a car. Like we had justified transportation already on and off. We didn't have to call for Ubers and Lyfts, which our friends Jay and Sam are, I wouldn't say frequent visitors of the area, but they have been and they loved it, and they had a lot to tell us about their experiences when they went first. And one of the things that we picked up from them was that Uber and Lyft are kind of scarce at times in the area, especially on the Strip. So one of the things we were worried about was if we don't take a car, how are we going to get around? Are we going to have reliable transportation? Or are we going to be hung every time there's a thunderstorm and 60 other people want the only Lyft in the area?
Yeah, it had a lot of sense for us to have a car. And
it made a lot of sense for us to stay at the island, knowing that there was so much at the island
that we wanted to do. I mean, we spent 3 days at the island,
which is a pretty good segue into
the island.
The island itself. Yeah. So Katie,
this is almost a view from our hotel room.
Yep. Katie
right.
had that's well, that's what I was going to say. If you're staying in a fountain view room, you're getting some angle of this. Is the key thing. That's what you're paying for. It's a little bit more expensive to stay in a fountain view room versus a river view and a village view, which are the 3 different kinds. So, well, I guess if you're staying in a presidential suite, you get a view of everything. But I didn't even want to know.
We saw that door open once.
We saw that door open once. We never saw it again. On the island, the key thing, and this is not part of my set of images here except for this one, so I want to talk about it. The key thing about the island is the fountain shows. That is what Kaylee and Katie kind of lived for during this trip.
So be there for the fountain show.
We did every half hour, right? Mm-hmm. And then like the 45 before close. The 45 mark. And then at like 10:45 and then 11.
There were just some that were late. No, it's every every half an hour starting at like 10:30.
I think the last one was at like 10 or 10:30.
Yeah. And there was one that was supposed to go like there was one time we think there was just a technical malfunction because we had watched shows up until 11 before and it was like 10:15 and one wasn't going and we were like,
We got the optimum experience for the first 3 days. And then we came back to the island on the back half of the week and there was actually one of the fountains wasn't working. And it's when we say one of the fountains, it's like
no, it was one of the lights.
Of these little spigots.
Yeah.
The fountain itself was working. It was the light that was shining on it wasn't working. So it didn't look colored.
A shame.
Yeah.
Basically, every half hour, they pick 2 songs from a playlist and they
sync the
fountain. The fountain is not just like an up and down fountain. It's got like short bursts, long bursts. It's got sprayers. It's got dancing. Like it's reminiscent of Harmonious, although the fountain was here first. If you've ever been to Epcot and seen the Harmonious show, the way that the lights and the water play together.
I mean, I'm going to be real. It's not World of Color or Harmonious.
It's not.
What you see is what you get. But it's definitely for walking around and seeing it and hearing the music and sometimes a song and then like you really groove to it and people will be like kind of dancing around it.
People being these 2.
There was other people.
And these 2. Reliably.
Like everyone is in those rocking chairs. Like that's all day.
Yep.
People just sitting there watching it. So.
Yep. And the fountain continues to go rain or shine. I think the only time that it shut off, besides nighttime so that people can sleep, was the one time when the really bad storm blew, when there was lightning in the area.
It was almost like it was closing time.
It was close. Anyway. Yeah, they just cut it a little bit early, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then around the fountain you do have the rocking chairs where you can sit and watch the fountain. But a lot of people continue moving because there's so much to do on the island. in this shot alone, some of the stuff we did, here's Paula Dean's
Family
kitchen, which is, this vlog is already edited. I can say definitively it will come out on Monday. We did family. We did the Paula Dean's family kitchen, and we did the Great Smoky Mountain Wheel up here in the same evening. We had things to say about both, but they were generally awesome experiences.
This is an old picture.
It is an old picture. And then down here, because there's no Skyfly.
There's no Skyfly.
Down here, we had the old Smoky Mountain Moonshine Complex,
Tasting.
which is where you go for moonshine tastings, which is another thing that Jay and Sam insisted that we do. And we did it. And most of us survived it. Then there's like there's little shops like Build-A-Bear, the ice cream shop, where, you know, there's always those little attention grabbers. We call them people eaters because we're Disney folk. But a lot of the good stuff is actually tucked back in Market Street, and further back in the island, there's the Gatling's Mirror Maze, which we spent a whole day doing that. And that vlog is actually coming out on Thursday. So I've edited a little bit, guys. It's coming. It's just not coming fast. So having said that, let me put Kaylee back up so I can break this thing down again. I think it is working. It's just working on an interminable delay. Like
I do want to just note while you're loading it that the ice cream parlor, honestly, I think we just like forgot about it and like didn't even look at it. But I saw that they just posted, I think on their Facebook, like the island Facebook page, that they do rolled ice cream there, which I was like, that's so cool. Yeah, I've seen that a few places. Yes.
I've seen lots of videos of it, but I've never actually.
I've never had it either. I was like, man, that would have been cool.
That would have been the time.
For how hot it was, the fact that we were like never got ice cream.
We never thought about it. Like,
Did we not do it the whole trip?
No.
Wow.
We never got.
I don't think we did. I never got it a single time.
Yeah, we got things that was like if only it had ice cream.
Yeah, we got like not apple pie,
Yeah.
cobblers and stuff that we were like, if only it had ice cream. But we never got
It's
ice
true. And it was hot.
It was
hot. I'm shocked we didn't think of it.
Nope.
This is Skyfly Soar America, which, if you were listening in just a second ago, is not where it should be, which is right here in this earlier picture. This carousel is now sitting a little bit further back in the island, and Skyfly occupies most of this skyline and closes out the mountain
They
view.
didn't move the carousel.
They absolutely did move the carousel.
I do think they moved the carousel.
They
Absolutely
did?
Yeah, I think they did.
You say things with such an authoritative tone.
Well, I know something.
I could be wrong, but
No,
I feel like they did because they
I
have
only know this because I've
all the
edited
seating.
3 different videos of the island in the last 2 days. I know exactly where the carousel
I guess it's movable.
I mean, most carousels are moved. The Hershey Park carousel moved all the way to the front of the park. But anyways, Skyfly.
It's not a carousel, it's a wheel.
We're talking about the carousel, dear.
Oh, sorry. In my head. Yeah.
Go to your room. Go to your room and think about what you've
Is
done.
it Friday yet?
All right. Skyfly Soar America has been the slide that's sitting up here for a couple minutes. So Skyfly is built. I did this 3 times. I paid for it every single time. You guys did it twice. I couldn't convince you to do it a 3rd time. But it was worth it all 3 times.
Mostly because of the money thing. If it was free, I'd just go do it.
Well, it gets cheaper every time you do it. So the first time it is $19.99 a person, which seems expensive when you know you can go to Disney and ride a similar experience for free. However,
If you have
this, or if you're already in the park riding other rides,
right.
this experience is a standalone simulator flying theater built by the same company that manufactured Soarin' Around the World and Soarin' Over California in the Disney parks. However, this was built decades later. So this is a lot more advanced, and it does have its own narrative, which I really like. The Soarin' Around the World in particular, I don't know if Soarin' Over California ever had a narrative woven in. I think it kind of does in the queue based on what we saw when we visited. But Soarin' Around the World does not. It just has Patrick Warburton. And I love me some Patrick Warburton. This has actual characters with names that come in, tell a story. As you're standing in the queue, there's a little pre-show that's an actual, if you've ever been to Universal and done the Gringotts ride at Universal Orlando, Harry Potter, you sit in an elevator and it takes you downstairs into the vault. there's a pre-show room that's very, very similar to that. There's a moving train that you have windows that you can look out, and the floor moves beneath your feet to make you feel like you're actually moving. They build the narrative in there. And then after you reach the train station, you board the actual Skyfly experience. And it is better than Soarin'.
Yay!
I think we all three agree it's better than Soarin'.
It's better than Soarin'.
It's better than Soarin'. It's not better than Soarin' by a lot, but it's better than Soarin'.
Yeah.
It does have some added features that Soarin' sorely lacks that are more reminiscent of, I think, Flight of Passage. Like, it sprays you with mist when you go through like Niagara Falls and through the waterfalls.
A lot of mist.
Depending on where you sit. I didn't get a lot of mist the first time, but the second time we rode, we did get misted pretty good. Certain sprayers seemed to be set a little heavier, but definitely was an experience to behold. Kaylee, I believe you have a video coming out at some point in the future.
It is going to be next Tuesday. I have a Skyfly vlog coming out.
She did an excellent Skyfly
vlog. And it was, honestly, you have to pay to get in, so I assume that they wouldn't let you take cameras on, but they say very clearly in the like when the safety video that they do at the beginning, that you're able to take pictures and video as long as you don't use your flash, which I think is very reasonable. So I would still say you don't get the whole experience from a video.
Yeah, you can't watch
either,
the video and be like, well, that was cool. Like, just like watching Soarin' POVs.
And Flight of Passage,
it's just, you
got to be there.
You need to be there, yeah. And it's the whole experience. Like, as soon as you walk into honestly, looking at it outside, it's pretty impressive. The cool, like, around the world in 80 days, steampunk kind of feel. And then you're in the queue, and then you have this pre-show. So the whole experience really lasts like 20 minutes. So you think you're paying a lot of money to ride one ride, but really it's like a whole experience. So
it does follow a narrative, which I like.
Keep that in mind.
And like I say, it does get cheaper each time you do it. So the first time it was $19.99 a person, which seemed high. And then the second time they have signs on your way out, it's $9.99. And then the third time when I went back, I think I only paid $8.99 because I had my receipt. Just save your receipt. If you think you're going to do it again, save your receipt. Because even if you don't do it again that same day, if you buy your tickets in advance, they can give you a slot for the next day.
They'll honor it the next day.
So they're very reasonable. And I think that I'm sorry, I should, but I don't. I don't know the manufacturer behind this attraction or the Disney Parks attraction. I just know it's the same one because it was talked about as a fact by the staff many times as a point of pride. And well, it should be. They have definitely improved the simulation since Soarin' was erected. Soarin' is one of my favorite rides at Epcot, and it probably would be my favorite at Disneyland, if not for the fact that it was converted to Soarin' Around the World when Soarin' Over California could have existed in parallel. But this attraction is better.
Yeah.
So
the one thing you do have to keep in mind is there's only one theater or one like seat, so it kind of doesn't really matter where you sit because you don't get the really bad leaning Eiffel Tower
except
effect.
in that some seats get sprayed a little harder than others. But the back row becomes the top row, like on
you don't
Soarin',
have to worry about making sure you get B2 because pretty much wherever you sit, pretty much everything I'd say is the same.
It seems to be that the back row, which becomes the top row, does get more of the mist because it has to cascade down.
I think it must be a
every seat has its own mister, but I think they're set a little bit strong. We definitely walked off with like wiping water off our face when we went through Niagara Falls. But that was fun. I mean, that was a fun part that like livened up the experience. It does have scents too, I'm told. I didn't smell any of them.
Apparently
I went 3 times.
It had some scent.
Smell them. Kaylee and I did.
Yeah, Tim got off. He was like, I didn't smell anything. I'm like, you can't even like, we smelled
the trees and the dirt and the ice.
I don't know what to tell you, fam. I think it's like cilantro, where like some people it tastes like soap, and for me it tastes like cilantro. Well, for me, it all smells like burnt plastic, and for you guys, it's imaginative scent.
I don't think the scent. I think they could honestly turn up the scents. I feel like it would be better if they did. It's
probably a little bit more subtle than Disney.
But I did smell them.
Yeah. It's there.
It's there.
And wind is there. I mean, it's a good scent. Yeah. Let's talk about Kaylee's favorite thing.
Our base game.
I love these.
I took pictures from the sets of 2 of the escape rooms we actually did. We actually wound up doing 3 escape games in total while we were on the island. Technically, while we were staying on the island, we only did 2. We came back for a 3rd one because Kaylee couldn't get enough, and that was the only thing she said she wanted to do for her birthday. And folks, if you don't know Kaylee, she does not talk about what she wants a lot. So when she says she wants something, you know it's like a burning passion in her soul and she has to have it or else there may be disaster. So we went back and did another one. And every single one of these was so immersive.
Yes.
I don't know. Kaylee, talk about it. I know you love them.
Yes, I do love them. So the big picture here on the side, the left side, is actually of Gold Rush, which was our first game that we did. And it was so immersive. Another thing about this escape game is that each one had 3 different like rooms, which was really, really cool. And I had not seen that before. So I really liked it. And it was so much fun. We actually ended up meeting a couple and their 2 kids from Ohio while we were in this first one. And we liked them a lot and we played really well together. So we ended up doing a second one with them, which was the art one. It's called The Heist. Yeah, so that one was fun and we had a really fun time. They were only there for the weekend though. So we came back on my birthday and we did the one that's in the right bottom corner over there, which is Prison Break one. I think, is it called Prison Break or Prison Escape? Something like that.
I think it's called Breakout, but it might be.
I thought it was called Prison
something.
I don't know.
I think.
Prison Break. Whatever.
But
I said it before and I'll say it again. We are not experts.
Isn't it
like
on
a
your
television
pin?
show.
Is it on your pin, Kaylee?
Oh, you know what? I bet it is. Which I'll show.
They had a pin for each.
Prison Break. It was Prison Break.
Okay.
Yes. So that one was so much fun. And honestly, that one was probably my favorite because it was just like, it was really awesome. I feel like we really shined in that one. But they were really nice and they gave me birthday cards. I feel bad that they gave me 2, but this one they gave me when we did the heist. And it was not actually my birthday, which it was kind of strange. I think Tim had mentioned it to them when we played our first game that it was my birthday. But they didn't like give me a card that day. But like when we came back the next day to do the heist, they like just handed me this card. And I was like, okay. So they like drew on it and everything. And then when we came back for my actual birthday, they gave me another card. I'm sorry, my dog is just sitting at the door over here.
Oh, I didn't even hear him.
Yeah, he just like lays down or like boops the door because he wants in here. But yeah, so on my actual birthday, they gave me another one, and we had told the girl, her name is Reagan. She's really sweet. She was our game guide. We told her it was my 25th birthday, so she like put 25 on here, drew a birthday cake on the card, and gave me one of the pins, which Katie had been buying the pins every time we got out.
Yeah,
So-
they weren't that expensive.
They weren't
but
wild. but
$5. I
Yeah.
remember they were $5.
They gave it to her.
little-
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I got a pin this time. So that was like really cool. And we broke out every single time, which was like the most exhilarating thing ever. Like I can't even explain the feeling of like when you get out, especially like the Prison Break one, we only had like a minute left. And it was just so much fun. So honestly, I think that was like a really big high point of my whole trip was getting to do the breakout games.
And to be clear, folks, we know there are escape rooms everywhere. Like
Yes.
this is not a Pigeon Forge exclusive activity, but I felt like it was worth mentioning because when an escape room is done well, when it's particularly immersive and you go in and you're like, there are multiple rooms and like you press a button and like a shelf falls
Like
off the
stuff-
wall.
Yeah,
Like
it was
that
very
is a big deal because we
high
have been in
production.
escape rooms, really bad ones, where the
lower
people don't care
quality.
about their jobs and like they just, the door swings open in the middle of the door you're supposed to be escaping through just swings open in the middle of the game, and there's a wide variance of quality. So when you find one that you really like, it's worth going
and
back.
the
multiple
staff,
times.
like obviously they gave Kaylee handwritten cards.
They were really sweet.
They were
They were
very
so
nice.
great.
So just if you want to get out of the heat, get out of the rain, and you've got a couple willing participants, you probably, if it's busy, you might get matched up with another family. But honestly, like both of the families we worked with, one we obviously really clicked with, the other one was in for the long haul with us. So just consider it if you enjoy that kind of thing. I definitely think you'll find it worth your while.
It was fun.
What else did we do?
We did other stuff. We're not going to spend all the whole live talking about the island. This is, I think, my second to last slide on the island. This is the Gatling's Mirror Maze Complex. This is also part of our island vlog, which is dropping on Thursday. So this is another great rainy day activity. I think we paid $15 a person or $16 a person.
It was like $15.99
for wristbands that let us use the mirror maze all week. The bumper cars and the laser maze were one-time use only, but the laser maze we actually got like multiple sessions.
Yeah, we got coins that gave us at least 2 games each, but it seemed like people didn't realize they left coins in it,
right.
So we got to play a couple extra times. So
I would say this complex, which is on the furthest end, way in the back of the islands, behind the Smoky Mountain Wheel. So it's not exactly the first thing you see, but if it's raining or it's super hot outside, this is another way that we decided to beat the heat, and another thing that when looking at the island, we knew that we wanted to do something like this. And this complex just had all this stuff for $15, and they had VR too. We didn't do that.
You can do VR included.
We have an Oculus at home, so it wasn't as exciting to us, but it's there. So the mirror maze you can continue to do all week, and there's no like one way to do it. I mean, the staff said they've done it so many times they can run through, but they also give you like 3D glasses where you can make it more challenging on yourself. Gives a prism effect. It's pretty challenging as mirror mazes go, and it took us a solid. I edited down what was like a 12-minute clip down to a much smaller clip. I won't tell you how long because you might not watch the vlog if I did. But it was a fun time. And we did the mirror maze twice of the many unlimited times we could have done it. And then the bumper car, I think all told we spent like 2 hours in this complex.
Probably, yeah.
Well, maybe a little bit less, but it was pretty close.
And we could have spent more.
Yeah.
Because we could have gone and done the mirror.
Could have done the VR.
Yep. So
Cappy's fine, Kaylee. All right. Now let's see if I was being honest when I said that was the last slide. I was! Yay! Yes. I hate lying to y'all, but sometimes it happens. So these are the other attractions that we did in Pigeon Forge. Pigeon Forge is huge, and we didn't get to everything we wanted to do. We tried so hard, but we couldn't get to it all.
So much to do.
So there are a plethora of mountain coasters in the area, Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg both. The 2 that we had heard the most about were coincidentally the 2 that we saw on our way in as we were coming up 321 through Wares Valley. This is the Goats on the Roof coaster. And Goats on the Roof is famous because it has goats on the roof. It's literal. There are actually goats on the roof. So they move. They've got little bridges between the bunch of roofs, and they can come down to the pen if it gets rainy. It's really, really cute. This coaster, I think it was $12 a person.
Yeah, it was the cheaper one.
Yeah. Which for the ride seems like a lot. It's a good ride though. We've done a couple of alpine coasters.
It's family owned.
You go, I don't know how tall the mountain is, but it's a good long lift hill that goes for quite a while. And then the lift hill is automatic. You're sitting on a cart and they take you up. And then the ride down, you control your speed. If you've never been on an alpine coaster before, you push the handles down to go fast. You pull the handles back to go slow or brake. And apparently, Kaylee didn't know that we were being conservative with our speed down.
I didn't know.
She pushed all the way down the whole way.
I was the last one to go on this one, and which I will say too, my personal opinion, not that any of them were bad. The staff at this one and the way that they sectioned us off to go was the best of the 3 that we ended up doing. But they did a really good job with that. So like I didn't even see Tim and Katie like almost at all. Like when we were going up the hill, I saw them a little bit. So like I saw them coming down. They seemed like they were going fast. And I was like, you know what? I can't be a chicken and not go full force. So I pushed it all the way down the whole way. And then I got off and like Tim was like, yeah, I had to pull up a few times there on the turns. And I was like, I was going because I didn't want to be the chicken one, because when you're with Tim and Katie.
But we were being conservative with it.
I understand why now. I was a little scared. I
was probably the most conservative of the 3 a.m. Goats on the Roof came under new management, I think they said 2 years ago. And apparently in that time, they were upgraded from some 36 mile per hour limit to the 44 mile per hour limit.
Mhm.
I will say what we learned, or at least what I learned going on my second run when I did try to go full throttle because I was embarrassed that Kaylee went full throttle without me, was that there are imposed brakes in the track. Like if you are coming down hot and heavy and you see a turn coming, you're not going to fly off the track because there are actual precautions in the track bed that will keep you from going off. It will automatically slow you down, like rubber on rubber type brake. So you can get up to 44 miles per hour on the Goats on the Roof coaster. Does not mean you will be 44 miles per hour all the way down. Now, having said that, this is the Smoky Mountain coaster.
Smoky Mountain Alpine coaster.
Smoky Mountain Alpine coaster. And it's funny because Kaylee, if you've been on our lives before, you might know that Kaylee has issues with motion sickness, particularly on coasters, which makes it really tough for her to do these like sharp banks and turns. Goats on the Roof, you said, messed you up, and the Smoky Mountain coaster apparently set you right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was feeling like pretty nauseous after the Goats on the Roof one, but I wasn't going to chicken out on the other one. So I rode it, and the strangest thing happened. I went full throttle on this one too, and I felt so much better when I got off. Like I got off feeling better than I did getting on. I'm like, what just happened?
The exact opposite track layout.
I don't know, man. Because there was like a lot of similar like turns and everything. You would think that this one would have messed me up, and I just got off. I looked at Katie. I'm like, I feel good. I don't know what just happened.
The weirdest thing. Because I got off and I was like, that one was longer and definitely a little more intense.
Yeah, she got off. Kaylee was the last one down, so you got off and you were like, I hope Kaylee's okay. We couldn't even see you again.
That was great.
You were fantastic.
Yeah.
You did wonderfully. Now, my picture wasn't as good on that one. They do have pictures on both
Yeah,
courses.
they will take your picture.
My
They will
pictures
take
were
your
not.
picture. And I feel like the Goats on the Roof picture, they notify you, and the Smoky Mountain coaster, they don't. So I was like hunched over like
I think I was
Quasimodo, like I don't know what I was doing. It was not a good picture. It will not be in the vlog. You will never see it. It will not see the light of day. But the Goats on the Roof coaster had the good camera. I will say the Smoky Mountain coaster, for what it's worth, I think it was our crowd favorite. It was
Yeah.
it was much more shaded. It was tucked into the woods a little bit more. Goats on the Roof coaster does go up the mountain into the woods a little bit, but it comes down into the blazing sun for most of the ride. This one is very much a woodsy coaster.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
up the lift hill, there was a little waterfall creek
Yeah.
like tumbling down the mountain next to you. So all the way up, I wasn't even paying attention to the lift hill in front of me. I was looking down the whole way going, oh, this is wonderful. Now this one was, I think,
it was like
$18 a
18,
person.
Yeah. And you could ride it again for cheaper.
You
I think
could. We
both
lost
of
our
them you
receipts.
could. The problem with this one was we did Goats on the Roof and we got on pretty quickly, and for some reason this one was like hopping.
This one had
we waited
a
like 45
40-minute wait.
Yeah,
We
so we
timed
did
it.
not.
When we got in the line, we were like, there's no way
We are not
right
getting
off.
back in this line again. So
Sorry, y'all. No can do.
You may want to hit most of these mountain coasters open at like 10, 11 on a weekday, I think. So if you want to do it and maybe do it again right away, might be good to get there when they open.
Yeah.
Lessons learned from us.
Well, we did. They're both. If you're staying at Pigeon Forge like we were, then you're driving out to Wares Valley and then working your way back to hit both of them. So we did Goats on the Roof first because it was the furthest out.
Yeah.
And it made logical sense. We're going to turn right into the next one. But by the time we were done with Goats on the Roof, it was creeping up on
at
12 o'clock,
Coaster.
1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't remember the exact time.
It was
but I
like
remember
it was noon, I think.
It was
Yeah,
late.
it was like 11 noonish.
The kids were awake, is what
Yeah.
is what we're getting to.
Everyone was awake.
These coasters are very family friendly. Anyone can do them, especially knowing that you can control your speed.
Yeah,
But
if you have a
You
small-
can have two on a cart too. I saw some people with like their little kids, like probably 5 or 6 year olds
You can
getting on
actually
there.
get two adults in them too. Like the
Yeah.
first one Tim and I ever did on our honeymoon, I rode in front of him. Like I was sitting in front of him
Yeah.
on the thing, which was a mistake because I thought I was gonna die. But
I will say one thing for fellow ride POVers, as we like to be under best case scenarios. The one thing I didn't bring to Pigeon Forge at Gatlinburg, and the reason being because we knew we were going to Dollywood where ride footage wasn't allowed, I did not bring my chest strap
no chest.
for my GoPro. So the Alpine coasters, you're using your hands throughout the entire experience. So I had a wrist strap with me. They told me no.
Had to be a chest mount.
Yeah, they said chest mounts and head mounts were allowed, but the hand mounts were not going to fly, which is a shame because I didn't have the other 2 mounts. But lessons learned. If we go back, we will definitely get a nice POV. Unfortunately, we don't have a POV to share with you because of that. However, highly recommend Smoky Mountain. Secondarily, recommend Goats on the Roof. The other ones, and we did do some other ones, but largely I would say the 2 that we did at the outset of the trip were the best. And Smoky Mountain, I think, was our favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the touristy stuff. Jurassic Jungle Boat ride, y'all. I have one thing to say about this and one thing only. It is Rainforest Cafe, the ride, and for that, I love it.
It was worth doing once.
It
if
was.
we want to do it again, I'll do it. But I don't think it has to be like an every single time I go thing.
I did get front row for my one ride. It's literally just a gentle float through an animatronic jungle of dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures.
A lot of dinosaurs.
It's very dark.
It is dark.
So I did shoot a POV because we did get front row, but I don't know how it will turn out. I don't know if it's editable and releasable. We'll see if you guys are interested. But of course, it's already out there on YouTube in many different formats already. If you want to do it, I would say it is worth doing the one time, like Katie said. If you don't want to do it, or if you have any doubts about it, I would say it's too expensive to be worth it.
If you like dark rides and dinosaurs and you'll get a kick out of it, do it. It's fun. If
you like dinosaur at Disney World, you will like this.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you won't.
I will say it was better than I thought it was going to be, and I think Kaylee said it was better than she remembered it being as a child.
It was better. I know, because Tim told me he wanted to do this, and I was like, oh, Tim, I've done it. And I was not looking forward to doing it again, but I was going to do it for Tim. And it was better, significantly better, which, to be fair, I wrote it like right when it opened, and I was pretty young. I don't know the year it opened, but I had to have been like younger than 12 years old. So it was all right. I was like, it was way better than I expected it to be, but I don't think I'd ride it again, honestly.
Okay.
It's long too, so you're in for like it's longer than like a 3-minute ride. I'd say it's more like probably like I don't know, how long was your POV? Like 6-7 minutes? Yeah. So
I gotta throw this up because this is wild. Did you guys know there's a rainforest cafe with a river ride?
I did not know.
Is that one in like Vegas
Where
or
is
something?
It?
I
Tell
picture
me
that
where
one
it
being
is.
in like Vegas or.
Tell me where it is. What's in the box? That will be like, I will jump on a plane tomorrow and go find it. You guys can tell me where that one is. I mean, obviously I have to, but if you all know where that is, please drop it in the comments.
Well, I will say they don't serve you any food on this ride, so.
They do not. That is a drawback. I will. And now the last thing that we actually did this on our last night in Pigeon Forge, and Katie and I did not vlog it, but Kaylee kind of did.
It's in Texas, guys. Wait, it's in Texas. Galveston, Texas. That's where it's at.
This. Is that anywhere close to Houston?
I know. I was like, I think it is. Well, I say
We've
that.
already made a soft commitment to visit the Houston area. So.
Wait.
I mean, Texas is huge.
Texas is huge.
It is huge. I'm sorry that my dog is the most annoying dog.
Fine.
No, we love him.
Kathy's fine.
It's not that far from it,
From
really and
Houston?
truly. Yeah, Houston and then Galveston.
How many hours?
Right here. Probably not a lot.
Because Texas is big. Like that line could be like 4 hours.
I don't think it's. I'm gonna guess like 2 at most. 51 minutes.
Oh,
we can do that.
That's doable.
All right. I mean, it is the goal to visit every rainforest cafe location
That's his goal.
in the nation.
That's not my goal. I guess I'll have to be there for it.
Hello from Clemson, South Carolina.
Oh,
Welcome. Talking about our trip to Pigeon Forge. If you're new to the chat and the channel, thank you for tuning in. Tim and Katie, and there's Kaylee.
Dang it!
Right.
I did right. Opposite.
All right,
sorry
Kaylee,
to interrupt your Pirates thing, though. I just saw that in Texas, and I was like, oh, Texas.
No, that's good.
If the escape room wasn't Kaylee's favorite part of the island, this would be her favorite part.
Oh, Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge.
It was very close to the island.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it the island. It's part of the island. So there are 3 shows that you can see if you choose to see a dinner show while you're in the area. There's the famous one that's been around forever, which is Dolly Parton Stampede. Our friends Sam and Jay of the Theme Park Foodies have
Dixie
been there.
Stampede, right?
Dixie
Dolly
Stampede.
Parton's Dixie Stampede.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the Hattie Dinner Show, which is a dinner feud comedy show, which is
It's
up the
Hatfield
road
and
a bit.
Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it the Hatfields and McCoys?
Yes.
Yeah.
The character, I think, is Hattie.
Oh,
But
okay.
maybe I'm wrong. We didn't see it. It's up the road away. We actually saw it on our way out of Pigeon Forge going the opposite direction on our last day. But until that point, I didn't even know where it was. It's a little ways away from the hubbub of main area. Then there's the Pirates Voyage, which is the newest show. I don't know how new, but I know that it's new enough that everywhere we saw flyers for it, they all said now open. So it can't have been that long ago that it opened. This is someone, and I don't know if this is someone who follows us on YouTube, but someone who follows us on Instagram commented asking, is this not just Dolly Parton's Dixieland Stampede?
Dixie Stampede.
Why don't you just say it?
Dixieland.
Why don't you just say everything then?
No, I'm just.
You think you could do?
It just edit. You just like to take away words
I
and
do.
add
I like to
them.
piecemeal.
Margarita Island Hotel.
I like the piecemeal.
Dixieland Stampede.
Listen,
Someone said, "Is it the Dixie Stampede with pirates?" And first of all, I don't think we can answer that because we've never seen the Dixie Stampede.
True.
But also,
I mean, I haven't. It's not.
no, it's not.
this is. I mean, there are similar elements in
It's
every
a-
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, it's a
show.
dinner
Like,
show. Like if you think getting served food while watching people sing and dance is the same thing.
There's a lot of Cirque du Soleil elements, but
Yeah.
there's particularly with the pirate show, there's a lot of like aqua aerobics. There's like flipping and jumping and diving.
diving.
There's rope battles. Man,
sword fighting.
the opening act where they were all climbing up the poles and like
what is it? I'm trying to think.
ship shape.
No, I'm trying to think like revenge, true love, miracles. Like
Oh yeah, it was like Romeo and Juliet at one point. That was really interesting.
like whatever it is from Princess Bride. That's what's in the show. It's everything.
I actually
is.
because
The whole finale is just everything. They just threw
Oh, yeah.
everything at that
it's
finale.
everything all at once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. You could say.
Because we got so many questions about it, and also because we're not going to be doing any of our own vlogging of this concept. I just took a couple of clips during the show on my phone, and Kaylee also took some clips on her phone, which may or may not be enough to craft a narrative around. But one of the things she did get is that Katie and I were actually selected to be part of the
we
show.
also volunteered.
We did
and
because
we're selected.
I was trying to volunteer Kaylee to be part of the show.
You were.
Because we
I wore flip
overheard.
flops.
So they go hunting at the beginning of each show for some adult participants from each side, because we have
Some
red team and
children.
blue team, and some children, and there are like different events that adults are suited for and different events that children are suited for. It ultimately becomes a pirate competition between Ruby and Sapphire. So we're seated in the Sapphire section. Our blue pirate team
Captain.
leader, our server, comes over
Oh, good.
and
Sorry, our server.
we hear him asking the kids nearby us if they want to be part of the show. So I jokingly then say to him, "Hey,
she wants to be part of the
should
show.
she be part of the show too?" Pointing to Kaylee, and he's like, "Yeah," and we're like, "Oh wait, what?" And then
He's
before
like, I need
we
2
have a
adult
chance,
volunteers.
before we have a chance to get our minds around the idea that somebody could actually be part of the show, Kaylee goes, "Well, they want to be part of the show. Can they do it?" And he's like, "I need 2."
Yep.
And turns to Katie and says, "What are your shoes like?"
Yeah,
apparently-
which scared me because
Yeah.
I had like sandals on, like not like flip flops,
Yeah.
but
he's
they
like,
had at least a back to them. I guess he was worried he didn't want you to be
right.
in, like,
It's wet
flip-flops.
down near the main stage, so he's like, do you have appropriate shoe wear that you could go down there and not slip and fall?" And then he came back around the side and like investigated. And luckily for Kaylee, she did not have the right
I
footwear.
did not. I was
So
so
she
happy
got
I wore
away
flip flops.
scot-free, but Katie wanted to do it, and then he turns to me and he's like, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I would have not done well. I would have not.
In volunteering Kaylee, we accidentally volunteered ourselves.
Volunteers.
And
But it worked out because we both happened to be wearing blue.
Yeah,
So we
which was
looked-
perfect.
Very much like we were on.
We looked like we
the
were playing
team.
for the right team.
Yeah.
I'm going
I
to
did
show
not
you
wear blue.
guys a really quick clip. This will not be in any vlog that we produce. May possibly be in some of what Kaylee produces. We're not sure
It
yet.
just gives you
Oh
a
wait,
teaser.
if I sent you, if it's what I sent you, it's gonna be in the vlog.
Okay. Well, piece of it will be.
Yeah,
This is a
it'll
short
be-
little video I snipped together this morning. It's nothing special, but sit back, relax, and get a glimpse of what the Pirates Voyage is all
Voyage.
about. Yeah, that footage and
was
that music was burning a hole in my library, so to speak. So it had to be used somehow.
Yeah. I can confirm it is fun, feast, and adventure.
Yeah.
All three of those
It
things.
is.
Fantastic.
I do. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Katie.
I just was saying, like, we were all just, I think, so impressed and blown away. And every time, like, we thought, like, it's not going to get better, something would happen. Like, a sea lion comes out, and we're like, oh my
There's only a
God,
very small snippet of the sea lion in that clip.
salty.
Oh, he will be in mine.
Oh, yeah.
He is a shining star in mine.
So,
I was
It
excited.
was, I mean,
wonderful animal.
if you've been
human
to medieval
performance.
times,
Yes.
the food is similar.
I would say
But the show is
like,
like,
the
several levels
the
above.
concept is similar because, like, at medieval times you have like the knight you're rooting for, so like
Yeah.
at the show, like, you're either rooting for the red side or the blue side, but it's way different. It's more impressive because besides just, you know, horses, I mean, I love horses, but besides just jousting and sword fighting, you get like sword fighting and dancing and singing and
There's a narrative
acrobat.
too. It's
Yeah,
not,
it
it's
is
not
a
just like a
story.
random assortment. It's not like a
I
talent
don't want to
show.
spoil
It's
too
a-
much about it, but there was something Kaylee and I were like, I'm kind of wanting it to take this turn, and it took that turn, and we were just like, yes, we're here for it. So, I know what Double Dare is. I just want to point that out. I'm not that young.
I did just want to say before we moved on from the Pirates, two things really quick. So the first thing is my mother, who is watching this live right now. Hey, Mom. She texted me, and she said the Pirates used to be the Lumberjack feud, which I kind of harped on this while we were there. I was like, guys, this used to be where the Lumberjack feud was because it's in the same building. But the Lumberjack feud is still like around, I believe. I just think it's somewhere else. But I will say, out of all the shows I've ever seen at Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, I've seen Lumberjack Feud. I've seen Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede multiple times. This one was like so much better, honestly. It was my favorite one I think I've ever seen. Oh, hello, Mother. Hi. She texted me that, and I laughed so hard because I remember saying that about that. Because I was just like, I know this is the building. But yeah, so I recommend the Pirates Voyage one. I actually had some like friends that were up there this past weekend, and I was like, go to the Pirates one, and they ended up going to the Stampede, which I'm like, it's
No!
no, the Pirates one. It's fun. But if you like horses, If like horses are more your thing, I do recommend the Stampede because you're gonna really enjoy that one. And it was like really sweet about family. But like if you are like me and Katie and they had like sea lions and all this stuff, like it was just everything. Everything you wanted to know.
Like
you do.
And like everyone, like I really felt like everyone in the audience was into it. Like they say, let's say yo home. We're like, yo home. Like it was like,
it was really good. It was really good.
Jay, we name dropped you and Sam a couple of times.
Yes, talking about our island experiences.
A lot of what we did in the island was informed by Jay and Sam's experiences on the Theme Park Foodie channel. So definitely go check them out if you haven't already.
I do want to point one more thing out about the Pirate Show is the Pirates and the Dixie Stampede are of course Dolly's, but the Lumberjack feud was bought by Paula Deen. So there's like a little, rivalry for shows going on there.
I will say
it's the Lumberjack feud.
The Lumberjack feud was bought by Dolly at one point in time when we last went, and I don't know what it is now, but I know Dolly tried to add Cirque du Soleil, and I love me some Cirque du Soleil, Dolly, but it did not belong in the Lumberjack feud. So I think she made the right call by going
Paula
in a different direction.
Like,
I think it worked out. I think it worked out because like Pirates is a masterpiece and she does amazing. But yeah, no, Lumberjacks and Cirque du Soleil just are not the best.
But Pirates
mixing, but Pirates, it actually worked really well. It worked great. It worked with the Pirates. So good for Dolly for that whole show.
Yeah, definitely.
I did when I built this slide presentation. I put like a what went well, what went poorly, and at the end of each segment. But we kind of been touching on everything as we've been going, so I don't feel the need to harp on the good, the bad, and the ugly here. The one thing that I would say,
I don't think there was any ugly.
There really wasn't. I don't think so. The only downside that we experienced with the Pirates Voyage is that when you purchase your prints, which they take some amazing photos at the beginning of the show. They've got really high quality cameras, and if you got a good looking group like us that teams up just right on that pirate map, you do get a portfolio of some pretty nice photos. It's not complimentary, you do have to pay for them, but you can pay only like a couple bucks more to get a digital set, which what we did, and then I promptly lost that receipt. And apparently the one downside of buying the digitals is that they don't keep them on record. There's no way to look them up if that receipt is misplaced. Yeah. So you got to hold on to that receipt like it.
Your QR code.
Yeah, like it's like it's your lifeblood. Like keep it safe no matter what. Because the prints that we got look so good, and I love those photos. It's actually what I used to make the thumbnail, but I had to scan it in off the prints.
A running theme of the week was where are the tickets? Because for different things that we got printed tickets, and sometimes they wouldn't use them to the next day. So just be more organized than us and don't lose your tickets and receipts.
It's easier if you don't change hotels halfway through the trip.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Jay.
It's all good.
We all appreciate a busy day.
I
don't know if he's still in, but I do want to shout out Joey D, who was part of I think it's called the Disnerdy Network now with Gene. Welcomed us on our original showcast with that crew. So we love getting shout outs from their team. On to Gatlinburg. Can't spend all day in Pigeon Forge.
You can, in fact.
You can, in fact. Spend many days in Pigeon Forge. So at Gatlinburg, we did a couple of things. We ate a couple of places, but the two things that I think are prominent and worth poking at would be the Gatlinburg Ripley's Aquarium, which is something that Kaylee recommended that we do. And then I had originally said, meh. Not like meh, I wouldn't do it, but meh, I'm not going to make it a priority. I did it.
I know Tim was freaking out about the aquarium. And I was like, but I told you about the aquarium and you didn't seem excited. So I was like shocked that we added that. I was expecting it to be off the list.
It was.
But it is a good aquarium. I've been several times. So I'm happy you guys liked it.
We showed up to Gatlinburg later, not necessarily later than we intended, but I guess later than we should have.
We showed up at a hard noon.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem late.
Yeah. But our intent was to go to Anarchista, which Kaylee recommended. Has never been because I think it's pretty new.
It's a sky-top adventure park. You take a ski lift up, and then you park at the top, and they've got ropes courses and zip lines and cool lodge food, and There's a lot to do up there.
We-
Unfortunately, we never made it
We
up
never
there.
made it up there because we could not find parking in this town at all. Couldn't get a parking garage, nothing. I don't even think there was a parking garage. There were lots, but all the lots like clearly said full. And it looked like the line just to get to the ski lift to get you up this mountain.
Hour.
What
Or
looked
more.
like an hour. It may have been less, but it certainly did not look
It
like
was
you
not
were
moving.
going to be getting up
And
there
there was
anytime
no
soon.
parking at the Anarchista lot either. They closed, like, as soon as we pulled in, we saw people like in uniform shaking their heads no. And
Yeah.
so we had to loop back and exit. Then we went up the street to the parking garages nearby and couldn't find anything there. They all said like fully.
Yeah,
whatever
the
it was.
aquarium garage was full.
And so what
Which has
we-
never happened. And all the times I've been there, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
never
We were
has
there
it
on,
been
like, a
this way.
Wednesday. It is the summer, but we were there on like a Wednesday. We just didn't quite expect it to be that.
So what we did, and I'm particularly proud of this and insisted that I tell the story. Also, hi Kim, you're not late. You're right on time. The good
You
stuff
just
is
talk
just starting.
forever.
So what we did was we rolled up the street to. First of all, we didn't mean to do this, so I can't take complete credit of this. We went up the street, and I was just kind of wandering around like, we'll drive until we find parking, I guess, because we came all the way here. So we were rolling up the street and starting to gradually get out of town.
Like go slowly up the mountain.
Slowly back up the mountain from whence we came. And where we saw parking was at Ripley's Mountain Coaster. Now, I had remembered seeing when we looked at the Ripley's Aquarium website that you could do bundle passes and do multiple stuff in a day. So I parked at the Ripley's Mountain Coaster and I turned off the car and Katie and Kaylee are like, are we doing the mountain coaster? And I was like, we can, but what I'm going to try to do is park here and walk in and buy a bundle pass. And hopefully they'll let me just walk up the road and use the Ripley's park bundle
Aquarium.
on the aquarium. And then we'll at least get to do that before we roll out of here. And they did. They let us do that. We asked the guy,
I asked very nicely.
park here and just walk away. And he was like, this is a slow day.
Yeah, we're like,
Well, this is a slow day, sir. This is slow
he
to
had
you.
no idea that all the lots were full.
Every single
He had
lot.
no idea because his mountain coaster wasn't full.
Yeah, there were like 10 parking spots at that lot. It wasn't a garage. It was just a little strip. And we were lucky enough to get there early because when we came back later in the day, after we did do the aquarium,
The mountain coaster lot was.
it was full. So other people had the same idea we did. I'm glad that we got there as early as we did and not any later. But pro tip, if you're going to go to Gatlinburg, doesn't matter what point in the week it is, this was on a Tuesday. Get there
Tuesday, not
early.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Early.
Try to get to Anarchista when it opens, I guess.
Or just, Jake said he couldn't get an Uber into Gatlinburg. I would say if you can find like a ride share or carpool or something, that would be a lot better than trying to have everyone meet
Yeah.
there. But
Yeah.
if you can't, then just get there as early as you can and hope for the best. Now, having said that, the Gatlinburg Aquarium was quite cool.
Ripley's Aquarium.
Ripley's Aquarium. I knew what it was called.
But it was the Ripley's Aquarium. I had never been to a Ripley's Aquarium before.
I had never been to Ripley's anything before.
Oh.
That was my first Ripley's experience. Actually, technically, the mountain coaster was my first Ripley's experience. But as compared to the previous coasters we'd been on, it wasn't particularly notable. It wasn't bad.
It was just, I want to just say this. It is not the poor girl's fault in front of me, but the poor girl that I got in the front on this one of the three of us, and the poor girl that was in front of me was braking the entire time. Like the entire time. I moved forward like this maybe 3 times. And I had to immediately stop because she was on her brake the whole ride. And that, no matter if we would have had a person like that, I think even on the other coasters, it would have made a difference because
it does
no one on the
matter.
other coasters did that, and it was bad luck that we got behind her because
Well,
it was peaceful for me. I didn't get motion sick. I didn't hate it, but I was like, ah! It's like the most annoying thing, honestly.
Thrilling.
The thing about the Ripley's coaster is that it was obviously a much smaller business because the Ripley's industry is big in Gatlinburg. It's not just that. And so they had, I would characterize a skeleton crew working the mountain coaster that day. There was 2 people up top and 2 people down on the bottom floor taking tickets and whatnot. And the people up top were not distancing riders the way they did at the coasters that we had done earlier in the week, which is that was a big thing. Like if you have someone in front of you that wants to go a little slower, that's fine as long as you've got a solid like 2 or 3 minutes in between that person and you, because you have plenty of track to go your own pace. The problem is that Kaylee got sent up maybe 60 seconds after that first girl, and she was running to the back of her the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's
she did not know what full throttle was. She did not know what go was. Like this poor girl. And then she rode again. I was like,
it's also a shorter coaster. Like it wouldn't have, if we had gone at full throttle, it wouldn't have taken anywhere near as long to get down. Mitch is in.
We usually do want to go fast.
As it goes.
I want to go a little fast. Well, I think there's like a difference between even if we were like comfortably going and then me literally like having to pull back the entire
I mean, if you're pulling
time.
up on the brake to slow down, you're going too slow.
Yeah. It was not a fun time, like, because I really had to. I almost hit her a few times because you can like bump, like they have bumpers.
Into the person in front of you, it's less fun.
And that was me not trying.
But that was just the one. That was just
the one thing
to get parking.
It wasn't terrible or anything.
And then we went to the aquarium because we had kind of nothing else to do, and it was so hot.
Hey Jay,
so hot.
We touched really quickly earlier on in the talking about Pigeon Forge. We're in Gatlinburg now. We were in Pigeon Forge before. When we touched on alpine coasters, the Smoky Mountain alpine coaster, we all agreed was probably the best bang for buck.
And
as long as you get there early. Yeah, it's on Wares Valley Road in Pigeon Forge. So we did do Goats on the Roof, we did Ripley's, and we did that one. And I think that one we all agreed was the best one. It does cost more, and you got to get there early if you don't want to wait in line, but it is great. Good advice for any situation. Anyway, we can't spend all day on the aquarium because we do still have Dollywood to get to. But Gatlinburg Aquarium, I thought was a really novel experience, different in many ways from our home aquarium.
Yeah, it was different.
If you've been to SeaWorld, I haven't actually experienced this at SeaWorld yet myself, but I have heard that there's a similar system in place where there's like a coral reef tunnel like this with a moving conveyor belt, where if you want to get up against the glass, you're on a moving belt so that you're not
and the fish are all swimming over you, and the sharks. I mean, you see so many sharks.
That was the coolest part of that aquarium for sure. They also had, and we didn't do this either, more for, I think, lack of probably interest due to the fact that we were getting hungry than time. But there was a glass bottom boat in this marina. So when you're in this tunnel, you're underneath the marina that's inside the aquarium itself. And it's a big, wide open marina, sorry.
I mean, it's a tank.
It's a tank.
Marinas have boats, right?
This is a boat I'm talking about.
I guess it's a boat.
Glass bottom boat tours. You pay an extra premium, you can get on a boat, and they take you through. And it's basically just the inverse view of this, which is another reason
Honestly, I don't know if it would provide a better advantage than just going through the tunnels themselves.
Well, probably fewer people pressed against the glass.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, there was a lot to do there. There really was. There was a whole Ripley's exhibit that was, standard
Believe It
or Not stuff in the aquarium itself.
Then
they
penguins.
had lots of penguins. We posted a lot of stuff on Instagram while we were here.
They had a lot, at least 2 of those, like, pop your head up into the little bubble to get a cute picture and a vantage point of like the fish and the penguins. So we weren't filming a vlog. Kaylee, I don't remember if you were filming a vlog.
I did film a vlog for that day.
So still the good thing about this trip is there's a lot of days where we weren't filming where Kaylee was.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a lot of Fantasmic Fandom exclusives when they come out. So make sure to check out what Kaylee has, because she'll fill in the gaps for what we didn't film at all. Yeah. And after the aquarium, we ate food, and then we did this.
You were like, we ate food. I was like, oh no.
I'm just saying, we were hungry. We ate some food.
We ate.
So we wouldn't even, first of all, we saw this when we were coming down the mountain. I wouldn't even have known this was here if not for Jackie from Super Enthused posting a vlog during her visit to Gatling. Actually, we overlapped with Jackie by, I think, 24 hours. She was in Dollywood while we were in Pigeon Forge, so we were right up the street. But then she moved on by the time we made it to Gatlinburg. So we had planned, as Katie said, to go to Anakista originally. That didn't happen. So then we went to the aquarium, and as we're meandering up the street to get food, we see the skylift, the park, the actual entrance, the ski lift that takes you up to Skylift Park. differing words by one syllable alone, was right around the corner from where we were eating. Like literally, we could see it from where we were positioned. And we said, well, let's see how much it is and whether or not it's worth doing, because we're here in Gatlinburg and we might not be back on this trip and yada yada. So we find out it's not that much. I think. Can you guys remember how much it was? Like
paid for it.
$13 a person or something like that.
I thought it was like $30.
I
think it was that.
I want to say it was like $14.50. I don't know why that like is in my brain, but it was like I wanted to say it was.
I didn't know. I just stood there and you paid for it, and then you gave me a wristband.
And that's how money disappears. No, it was not wildly expensive. And once you get to the top, now mind you, there's no theme park attractions up here. There's no like, spinning the teacups or anything. There's nothing.
No zip lines.
No exciting adventure park extras. But for the fact that when you reach the top of this mountain, you've got a great view of Gatlinburg and the Smoky Mountains, and you've got the continent's longest.
Confirmed.
The continent's longest suspension bridge.
I wasn't sure if it was the longest, and I wouldn't.
Did you hear me when I said the continent's longest?
Yes. Confirmed.
Just so we're clear.
Yes.
Are we clear on the fact that it is the longest bridge on the continent?
Longest suspension bridge.
Yes. This was something that we argued about multiple times.
I was on the lift with them when they were arguing.
Nobody did.
No, I just didn't want us to tell lies on the channel.
We do have a vlog from Skylift Park. I did break that out into its own individual thing because honestly, as soon as we got on the lift and started the elevation gain is about 500 feet according to the staffers. So as soon as we got on the lift, I was like, oh, this is going to be vloggable. So we reached the top and I was like, oh, I'm glad I started a narration. I don't look my best that day because I wasn't planning on vlogging, but it is a very memorable experience. So this bridge, I can't remember quite how far it is across.
I didn't look it up.
A smart Googler would probably have done that before we started the live stream.
It's long.
It's quite long, and it does have a glass bottom in the center. It does have a swingy
motion a little bit. It's not terrible.
Up in the mountains, when the wind starts blowing, everything feels it. So we were walking across that bridge, and Katie is not like wildly height-phobic.
I'm not scared of heights. Obviously, I ride coasters and stuff all the time, and I actually love a big drop. I just don't. I don't love not having any sort of protection other than like obviously it's fenced. Like you're gonna have to work hard to fall off of it. I don't feel as secure walking across a suspension bridge as I would being strapped into a coaster or being hooked on a harness.
Right, you're on your own.
So, and people were out there with their phones like this, and I'm like, nope.
I was one of the people.
No phones, no nothing. I want my hands on bars walking across. So
I think there is that glass bottom section in the middle too.
There's a glass bottom section, which I was not feeling on the first walkthrough, but I went back across and I looked down and I took pictures and I smiled and I waved and I did fine. So I
waited till Katie was back after the second round to tell her about the glass that had broken before, which there are multiple.
I never
layers.
heard about that.
Well, so they built this shortly after my last trip, and I had been following the page. And I remember a few years ago, they had some of the glass crack in one of the panes, and they had to replace the panes. But they do have several layers of glass. It's not obviously just one layer. So you weren't gonna fall. It was safe. I can't remember if they even ended up closing the area or not. To replace, I don't think they replaced it right away because it wasn't like a safety hazard or anything, because there's I imagine probably 5 or 6 planes of something. So anyways, I waited though until Katie was back across before I mentioned that to her because I didn't want to freak her out.
That horrible thing where the glass pretends to break under you.
I wanted that to happen. I so badly wanted it to happen.
Because I laugh at those people, but I know it would be me going, no.
And then you jump off the bridge.
No, I would just be like, nope, not looking down, not looking down.
Oh, no.
Shrek,
no.
I'm looking down.
So 700 feet, guys, by the way, is the length of the bridge.
I think that the elevation gain has to be more than 500 feet.
Well, that's what the staff. I'm going by staff.
Maybe from where we were at that point in the mountain. But I think it's
elevation.
I don't think it's from just 500 feet from the bottom back up to the top. Because we were.
I can only tell you what I've been told.
We were more. Well, that bridge itself is that long. It's not longer than the mountain.
I don't know if you lay it flat.
I don't know.
I should mention too that there's not just the bridge up here. There's the whole Skylift Park area is kind of a historical site because it was dramatically impacted by the wildfires that started in 2016. So they have like, what's the word to talk about like history?
Plaques?
Yeah, they have like plaques up there. The words we lose are the weirdest words. They have plaques up there talking about how the mountain compared to pre-2016 and post-2016. The whole bridge system was added
Later.
after 2016 as an attraction. And they have all kinds of exhibits. And I think the Tulip Tower is brand new as well, post-2016. So pretty much the only thing that was at top before the fires was the little lodge. Yeah, the little observation area.
But the ski lift itself like burned.
Right.
Too.
Right. So this is kind of a testament to the ability to rebuild and create anew more than anything. So it is a historical site of sorts.
Yeah.
And it's also where we saw bears. So there's that too. And we didn't see them far away either.
No, they were pretty close.
They were close enough that the staffers were, standing by with hands on bear mace holsters, and Katie was hearing over the radio someone saying, "Don't spray them unless you absolutely have to. They're gonna get mad."
No, it wasn't so much they're gonna get mad. It's not comfortable for the bears to get maced.
I can't imagine why. I love being maced.
And they looked like babies.
I don't think they like to
look
do
so
it unless
little.
they're actually like a threat to humans, and they were just curious dumb bears. So
yeah.
But they walked away and went back to the woods after I got
all
a
of
nice
that
video.
Will be in our vlog, so you'll see how close the bears got to. I did have the presence of mind to get the black bear footage, so that was.
I want you to keep in the part where you ran up to get us.
Right. I was initially out there just doing a grounds floor walk around, and I saw like 2 or 3 people looking over the balcony, and I thought to myself, "Oh, what a great overlook vantage point! I wonder what this looks like." Come to find out, they were staring at bears that were directly underneath our feet, and I mean close. Like if the bears had decided to jump, they probably could have clubbed the bottom of the balcony. I don't think they would have hit us, but good thing bears don't jump off.
No, they were just.
They were exploring.
Yeah.
Sniffing.
These were teenage black bears too, and mom was nowhere nearby. They were curious
not cubs,
more than anything.
They were definitely like juvenile young bears. So,
all right, Dolly.
Yes,
Miss Dolly. Good golly,
Dolly.
Miss Dolly.
Good golly, Miss Dolly. I actually wore that shirt today.
You did. Show it.
Hold on.
I did. Good
We're
golly,
all in our
Miss
Dolly shirts in case that hasn't been clear.
That's true.
Yes.
Miss Dolly.
It's harder to see mine because I wear tight-fitting shirts. No one knows why. Anywho, so you transitioned on the day that we went to Gatlinburg. We were actually in the middle of a move, and thank you to the DreamMore Resort staff for opening up a room for us well before check-in time. Thank you. I think her manager's name was Rachel. Rachel pulled all the stops out for us. We were originally going to be put in a 4th floor room that had no view. We were transitioned as soon as she found out that we were staying here for the first time. They transitioned us over to a 3rd floor.
Pool view
that had a view of the pool,
mountain view.
And if there is one, I mean, there's a lot of things I love about DreamMore, but if there was only one reason to stay here, I would say the pool kicks butt.
Yeah.
And the hot tub in particular.
You can't see the hot tub.
You can't. And I tried, man. I tried to
It's-
find good pictures of the hot tub.
But we could see the
You'll
hot
see
tub.
it in our vlog for sure.
Yeah.
But we spent so much time in that hot tub.
Compared to the size
That
and
was
the
a
scale
40-person hot tub.
of Margaritaville's pool and hot tub, DreamMore just dreamed more. And they were like, no, we will give you more pool and more hot tub.
More.
It was fantastic. And you can't really see, but like the rocks behind that pool area, it's like, it's like a waterfall. It was lovely. Everything in DreamMore had like a family, very homey feel and theme to it.
Yeah.
So the pool was called the swimming hole, and it has a very like kind of more, natural, like river looking kind of. I don't know if DreamMore was pet friendly. Sorry, I thought we were pulling up that.
I didn't see any pets there.
There was a kennel service at Dollywood.
Oh yeah, there was one at
There
Dollywood.
was a Doggywood. It was called Doggywood.
It was cute.
But I don't remember if DreamMore itself was. I don't remember seeing any dogs, but I feel like that doesn't mean there weren't. Maybe there just weren't dogs there. I don't know. We did not have any dogs.
Yeah, we don't travel with
pets.
animals, so unfortunately it's tough for us to say definitively whether or not a place is going to be pet friendly or not. However, it was much homier than Margaritaville, so I would say if anywhere in Pigeon Forge is going to accommodate pets,
Besides, like getting a cabin
Right.
for yourself.
right, I would say DreamMore would be your best bet for sure.
Yeah.
Now, Dolly is opening up a whole new lodge right around the corner, and in fact, we traveled down the road to what is eventually going to be called the Heart Song. Jay says not pet friendly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just Googled it and it says with the exception
Service animals.
of service animals, they do not allow pets at DreamMore. So if you have a service animal, it says they will like accommodate that, but otherwise, no.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. Dolly gets to make her own rules.
I mean,
I'm comfortable with that.
pet friendliness is not I don't think that's a much of a standard these days.
It's not a must do.
Yeah.
I do know some of the hotels in the area are pet friendly because I've stayed at a pet friendly one. So there are places to stay that are pet friendly.
Yeah.
Or at least like half of the resort will be.
Yeah, they might be like
So yeah.
rooms.
Yes.
I will. So now Jay brings up a great point too. We stayed during the summertime, so we had butterflies everywhere, which I think is standard decor. But I have seen pictures of Christmas time at DreamMore, and the pool becomes like a Christmas tree farm with like the lit up trees and whatnot. Not real trees, but displays.
So pretty.
It does.
I need to go back.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all in agreement that it would be worth staying at DreamMore again. If nothing
Christmas.
else, that pool, and Jay also
Yes.
commented on this, the hot tub is perfectly tucked away from the
It
pool.
is.
It is a 40-person hot tub. The pool, you can't really see it from what we've got here, but this little bank here, there's a waterfall right here, which I think is one of the prettiest, just all around the prettiest pools we've ever seen. And this little channel between the
It's
island
like
and the middle,
jets.
there's little jets that push people through so they can't spend all day there, which I appreciate. I'm sure not everyone does, because I'm sure that it would be a nice place to chill all day. But if you can chill all day next to the waterfall, it stands to reason that that little channel becomes cluttered with children who want to do tricks in front of the waterfall. So
I will say they turn that off at night
They do.
or later in the day.
Yeah.
I think it's just like a safety precaution that they
Yeah.
turn it off. But it was not even dark yet that they had turned it off one day. And I asked the guy about it and he said, yeah, they turn it off.
I think because it just makes the water too
Meantime.
turbulent to see if someone is not
Possibly.
doing well in the bottom of the pool.
Yeah. It's
There
for
was also-
safety.
There's
For
also a
sure.
splash pad.
yeah,
Which I don't know if that was seen in the picture or not. Off
It
to
was
the right,
nice.
the whole swimming hole and like the rest of the just back area is called the backyard, I think. And
Yes.
it's expansive. Like you keep walking and it's like, oh, there's a playground. Here's another fire pit. Here's cornhole. There's so much cornhole. And then you can make your way back to like a gazebo, not a gazebo, but like a
Well, they had an indoor pool.
oh yeah,
as
and there's
well.
another pool.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Which
to
is
look
nice.
at.
these are what the rooms look like.
Yes.
Now, I should say too that DreamMore, and Jay, if you're still on, you can speak to this too, I'm sure, because Jay and Sam are on Dollywood's media list, and they've stayed, or at least Jay has stayed in one of the family rooms that has like the
Bunk beds and
bunk
stuff.
beds and the cool
They look
layouts.
super cute.
There's a lot of very family-friendly rooms that don't look at all like this. We stayed in a very standard 2-queen room. And the one thing I would say about this resort versus Margaritaville is there was a serious downsizing space.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not a big deal if you're not traveling with 17 bags.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we got kind of accustomed to the size of Margaritaville, and we had everything kind of in different
Well,
bags.
we
and
already
spread
had
out
a
little
lot
bit
of
more, and-
bags, and we had our own car, so we weren't flight ready at any
Right.
point. And then we started collecting souvenirs by this point. We had
Yeah.
food from our car trips and stuff like that. So I know DreamMore is not that old. Like it was built in like 2015 or something. So I would love for there to be like an update where they at least maybe raise the beds for under the bed storage. Like if they did that, that would solve a lot of the issues that we had with trying to figure out what are we going to do with like, because I think between us, we had 5 suitcases and like a couple other like, bags.
We made it work.
We did make it work, but I like to tuck my suitcase away and not look at it in the room and not have it to trip over or run into.
It was tough to clean up for a room tour.
Yes.
I'll say that. But we did do a room tour.
Yes.
And Kaylee also did a room tour.
Yes.
So I know there will be plenty of coverage on everything we experienced at DreamMore. It is a genuinely beautiful resort.
Yeah. It's not like the room was cramped.
No, and in fact, it was very comfortable and
if
largely
it was the first
soundproof.
place we stayed, we would have been like, wow, look at this. But it was from Margaritaville to this that it was like,
right. We got accustomed to being able to stretch our stuff out a little bit.
We have to be a little more creative with our space.
Kaylee, was that thunder I heard a minute ago in your...
I thought that was our thunder.
Was it our thunder?
Yeah, we have a thunderstorm.
We have had thunder. I haven't heard it in a hot minute.
I think that was us.
I don't know. We have had some thunder like right before we started, so hopefully not.
Yeah, so the double queen rooms are available, but they are you're right, it was our thunder. They are the minority. Most of the rooms are family rooms because this is a very family accommodating resort.
Yeah.
So actually, I think we were the more uncommon variety of guests to be there because there were a lot of families, including a very nice family that we vibed with and kept running into and wound up spending some time at Dollywood with, which you'll see in some of our vlogs. Anywho's it's what you all have been waiting for, no doubt.
The rooms.
It's coming.
Back to the room.
It's coming. It's coming. Give it some time. Let us think about it.
Is it actually coming?
I don't think it's coming.
Aww.
All right. Talk amongst yourselves.
While we're pulling up the Dollywood slide.
Oh, you spoiled it.
Well, I thought that was where we were going next.
We are going there next. Now there's nothing to look forward to.
So we were. What was nice about our stay at the DreamMore was we did have like a true resort day there, and that was actually our first day there.
We spent a lot of time in that pool.
We could get our bearings.
Yes.
We checked out the resort. We ate food. We really spent time in the pool and hot tub, and it was also that night the only time we got to see the Summer Nights drone show.
Yep. Because even if it's not raining, if you're at Dollywood and you're expecting to see the Summer Nights drone show, the drones cannot fly if there's lightning in the area.
Right.
So it was not raining during the show for 2 nights in a row, and we thought we would be able to see them.
So
but
from the resort, you can see, like from the pool area, you can see the fireworks and the drones. The best place to view the drones if you're going to stay at the resort is one of the right side back porch area, which is where we were told by like lots of staff to go. But unfortunately, the other 2 nights when we were actually like in the park, it was weird because one night was fireworks only, and they said we can't fly the drones that night, and then the other night they played the music for the drones.
They did,
but then the drones never showed up, so we were kind of confused about that. So I don't know if there was some kind of technical glitch. But I will say, for having never seen a drone show before, it was pretty cool. Although we just watched Holiday World's drone show on Super Enthused, and that one looks even cooler. So, but it's
I'm not
nice.
saying there's not room for improvement on what Dolly's doing, but the Summer Nights spectacle across the board was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was
and
fun.
The party at the park is even more fun.
Yeah.
But if you don't make it to the park, it's nice to be able to see the show from your balcony.
Nice that you can see, the fireworks from your resort if you're just done and don't want to wait till 9:30 after the park is closed to watch fireworks.
So first, before we move into our experience at Dollywood, it would be irresponsible not to point out that we do have a brand new roller coaster announcement from Dolly herself. Pull ourselves off the screen here. things are about to get bigger because Wildwood Grove, which I think we can all agree was our favorite area of Dollywood, is expanding almost double its footprint with the addition of this new themed Vekoma multi-launch coaster coming in 2023. We saw a ton of signs while we were there, but we didn't actually see any progress on the ride.
We saw some, well, it looked like a construction area, like definitely some like dirt roads kind of built out, but nothing, no coaster track or anything. And we kept seeing these signs around that's like, have you seen this bear? Like they were just everywhere.
Big Bear Mountain is opening in 2023. And the press junket was on Tuesday?
I think so.
I think Tuesday of this week. So this is brand new. And this is going to be comparable, I think, to Hagrid's at Universal from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Different manufacturer, but same basic ride type.
Yeah.
Minus the bikes. Instead, it's a Jeep.
Yeah, you're supposed to really like truly go through, like based on the concept, go through like this waterfall.
Have been promised dark ride scenes and theming elements and on-ride audio, all things that make a perfect attraction.
Yeah.
So
we're excited about that.
Looks like sometime after 2023 we'll be back. Now, having said that, our experience at Dollywood was sans Big Bear Mountain, unfortunately, but that did not make it any less exciting. I divvied this into 3 categories, which are dining, rides, and shows. So dining at Dollywood, we did eat at Aunt Granny's, which I call Aunt Granny's.
Aunt Granny's.
That was fabulous and will certainly be the subject, if not, well, not the central subject, but will be a piece of our vlog. Kaylee, I don't know if you're vlogging that as a day or as a breakout, or if you haven't decided.
I don't know. I don't know nothing about how I'm doing these.
It was a fun day.
I know I'm having like one very specific vlog, which you guys know.
Yes.
But I feel like I don't know if it will fit in with that vlog or if it will fit in with another general vlog. But it will. I did vlog some at Aunt Granny's. Or Aunt Granny's.
Aunt Granny. We spent 2 days at Dollywood. And I will say, too, I don't know if Jay's still in. I know he had a long day. But the other place that we dined on campus at Dollywood was the Front Porch Cafe. Mm-hmm. And that was recommended to us because we knew we're trying to save Aunt Granny's for the following day. So Front Porch Cafe is where we did, I think, dinner or lunch.
I think we did dinner
earlier
because we did lunch at the Wildwood Grove.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
That was probably, honestly, not the best, but it wasn't.
The kid pack, Kaylee really liked.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was so cheap.
It
was a good deal. It was like $5.50, and I got a drink that was like regular size that was priced at like $3 something, and then I got an Uncrustable, which is my first ever like proper Uncrustable, but I was in love with it. And there were like other snacks, like they had like little cheese goldfish in there and animal crackers, and I didn't end up eating the applesauce, but they also had applesauce, so that was actually a really good bang for your buck. It was only like $5.50 or something.
Yep. And that was like the Wildwood Grove quick service, which I thought was the newer place and it would be fun or whatever, but it ended up just being like burgers and chicken tenders. And then they do have like a Chipotle style, like build your own rice bowl and nachos. Our last theme park build your own rice bowl did not sit well with us, so we opted not to go that route. So we were like, we're just hungry. We'll just get, some chicken tenders. And that ended up being a problem because they apparently ran out of chicken tenders. And then we had to wait like 20 minutes.
The one thing I thought they would be able to just pull off the line.
Right.
This isn't a knock on Dollywood, by the way. This is just we ate at a very like standard theme park food place.
Yeah, at a place that is known for better food than that. And there was also like their summer food festival going on. Right. So I was part of that problem because it was really hot and I was starting to feel like hangry. And I was like, if I don't eat something and get into some air conditioning, I'm going to melt.
Right.
And die.
The heat was like really bad that day.
We did need the air conditioning. At least it was air conditioned in there. We got to get out of the heat for a little bit, but the line was really long. And then we had to wait for chicken tenders. And So I would say like that's definitely not like one of the go-to places to go. Like Aunt Granny's definitely the front porch. There's with the picture that Tim pulled up was the gristmill, which is the cinnamon bread place, which is not really for like a meal, but
we didn't actually go there because we knew it was big on cinnamon bread, but it didn't have like big meal options.
But the food festival booths were everywhere, and you can get food there too.
I will say we didn't get cinnamon bread at Dollywood, but we got it delivered to our room at DreamMore, which is another perk of staying at DreamMore, is that they can deliver at any point in the morning you can
order a
cinnamon
warm
bread room service.
A warm loaf of cinnamon bread.
Durf. Yeah. So the gristmill does serve cinnamon bread daily at Dollywood, but you can also get it at DreamMore, which is what we decided to do. And thank you, Jay. Also, I was texting Jay throughout the day after we ate at Wildwood Grove saying, where would you recommend we go that's not Aunt Granny's? Because we know we're trying to save Aunt Granny's. And I know there's more food there than Wildwood Grove where we chose to eat. So wound up going to, as Katie said, Front Porch Cafe. And that was a great decision. Thank you, Jay. I think we had, it wasn't like Aunt Granny's knocked your sock off.
I think I could have gotten something better there, but honestly I just wanted the salad, so I ate the salad and was happy. And our dessert was like a banana pudding cheesecake, which was pretty good. So
Jay says gristmill cinnamon bread is superior.
I mean, if it is, I have something to look forward to, because I thought the one that was delivered to our room was pretty good.
I concur that it was pretty good. But Jay said he has votes.
I mean, we want to go back.
Now, Aunt Granny's, I will say, was knock your socks off good as well. I don't think there was anything we ate there that we were like, that could have been better. And I truly did not know what Southern fried chicken was supposed to taste like until I had it at Aunt Granny's. And now every other fried chicken I've ever had it just seems gross. Like I wasn't really a big fried chicken fan to begin with. I like grilled chicken for the most part, but Southern fried chicken at Aunt Granny's changed the game. I agree. It is superior Dollywood dining.
It's the best.
Now, those were the only places that we dined at Dollywood while we were there. We did do Song and Hearth for breakfast and dinner at DreamMore, which we highly recommend. But I think it is about time that we dive into what the coaster enthusiasts want out of this stream, which is the rides at Dollywood. Now, Dollywood is a big coaster place. They are big on roller, and in case in point, they're adding a new roller coaster in 2023 that's going to be their biggest investment thus far in the property. So this is a picture of Lightning Rod, which is a big favorite amongst the coaster enthusiasts that visit Dollywood. Thing of it is, Coaster Rod is probably the most persnickety little ride.
Coaster Rod?
You mean Lightning Rod?
He said Coaster Rod.
He said Coaster Rod, 100%.
Lightning Rod.
Coaster Rod.
Yeah, you said Coaster Rod.
YouTuber named Coaster Rod.
That would be such a great coaster enthusiast name, wouldn't it?
Coaster Rod.
Coaster Rod. Hey everyone, I'm Coaster Rod. All right, I meant Lightning Rod, obviously. Lightning Rod is well known as being like the quote-unquote best ride at Dollywood. It's an RMC. It's an RMC, and it's got an uphill launch, which makes it very, very unique. It launches you all the way up the hill, and then it's a wild bucking ride all the way through. This one was going to be a little much for Kaylee from the get-go, so we knew not to put her on this one. But even for us, I would say it was a wild ride, and we've been on 2 other RMCs, Rocky Mountain Construction Hybrids. I know Jay did tell us going in this was his favorite. I would put it at my number 3.
He's only been on that one though.
No, of RMCs, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is his only one. That's why
he's been on every other coaster in the park.
No, but I'm saying like that's why he's like I've only done Lightning Rod, which is why it's his favorite.
I would put it at it's definitely at the bottom of my RMC list, but it's at my number 3 of all the coasters in the park. And I would say this for the other coasters. There are some dark ride coasters at Dollywood, which make for some really great, unique experiences.
There's one dark ride coaster.
There are 2. Mystery Mine is a dark ride coaster as well. Did you forget the elements of dark ride on that ride, which is the only reason I got on a Gerstlauer to begin with?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That one looks so much fun.
It was whippy, Kaylee.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I had a sad moment on day one because I normally can push myself and at least try coasters. I always say, you know, I wasn't raised a chicken and I'll try, but I just was having really weird headaches, and I feel like it might have been from the Alpine coasters, to be completely honest. But I was having really weird headaches, so I was just not, like, I was scared to get on some of them that I knew would probably mess me up. So I was such a chicken this time. Didn't get to ride a lot of them.
Chicken.
She listened to her body.
It was so sad. I
Which
was
is
so
what
mad
we
at my
talked
body.
about doing in the Motion Sickness Live, Kaylee.
Her
Listen
body-
to your
her
body.
body said,
I know. I was really mad at my body though that day.
We did. I mean, we didn't handle this particularly well because Katie and I were trying to grab coaster credits anytime it wasn't raining, and it was on and off raining the entire time we were in the park, both days. So we were looking to jump on as many coasters as we could. Now, Blazing Fury is a unique credit with Dark Ride, which Kaylee did actually do with us, and I think you really liked it.
I did like that one a lot.
It was one of my favorites too. But the other coasters, Katie and I were, anytime it like stopped raining and we were nearby a coaster, we would like, we need to drop our stuff. We need to go over there. We need to make a flip. Like, it was just a little hectic. Now, that's not to say we didn't have fun on our day one, but I do feel like we were too preoccupied with coasters to appreciate some of the rest of the park, which is why I'm glad that we went back on day two and had a much slower paced day, which is always why 2 days in every park, if you can afford to do it.
Yeah. The other thing about Lightning Rod itself is, which to me, like, if a ride is only going to be open for like 2 hours in the 2 days you're there, Pantheon, like, it's not going to be my top. Like, it doesn't matter how good the ride is. If it's that finicky, like, don't even come at me. Like, I don't care. So hopefully Vanessa, Steel Vengeance isn't as finicky as this ride is, because if I get in line twice and it breaks down in like the only day I'm there, it get done.
Well, a big problem with Lightning Rod while we were visiting was because of the rain, and because it had an uphill launch component. It's a magnetic launch with the fins, so if it doesn't garner enough speed off of that launch, if the wheels spin on wet rails, it'll slide right back down. Yeah. It doesn't have much momentum to clear the top because there's no lift, there's no chain lift to take it up. So a lot of the times when it was raining, if it was raining hard enough and the rails got wet, we were literally next in line and we saw it roll back down the hill. Yeah. And
but the thing is, like, other coasters were open. Yeah. Like, it wasn't just like of course when lightning came, everything shut down. But other things were open. So it's a finicky ride. And I know Jay said it was open every day he went in the comments, which I'm so glad. According to the locals and people who go there a lot, it's always broken. So,
and we're talking a lot about roller coasters. There were other rides too. The second day we took it a little bit slower and had what I refer to in our second day vlog as being a more sedentary day. We did get on the train. We got on
the rapids.
We did the first day. We did Daredevil Falls, which was so scary, y'all.
It was not.
That was the scariest log flume I've ever been on. And the Notch log flume in the dark, it was terrifying. But the Daredevil Falls was
fine.
Don't even say Daredevil Falls was more scary. That Knott's Berry log flume, I love it. But I thought I was gonna die. That one was like intense.
Was scary and also fun. Daredevil Falls was fun.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It was fun.
There's Disney Magic says she loves Dollywood, heard it's better now, went back in 1998, last went in 1998.
Oh, I'm sure it's changed a lot.
Very, very different.
I think they've added so many coasters in the last like 15 years alone, I think. But it's still, I think, very charming for what it was, I have to say.
Yeah.
I think, so Kaylee will have, without having done her, as many coasters as we did, will have a great insight as to what else is there to do and what else the park has to offer besides rides, because it was beautiful just walking around and looking at what was there and listening, all the music, all the sounds.
It was, Dollywood is great with water features too, so I don't love being on water rides, but I do enjoy water features. So I'll roll around and watch waterfalls and water wheels and whatnot all day if that's what they have. They don't even need rides to get my attention that way. But it's definitely, I would say, more fun to do I would say, a balanced day between coasters and other rides. Now, Daredevil Falls and the Rapids are not my favorite, but it seemed like everyone else enjoyed them, so I was along for the ride. Also, the train was fun.
The train was
the
fun.
steam engine, old school Dollywood Express.
You will get sooty a little bit, especially if you're up towards the front.
Yeah, because it is a legitimate steam locomotive. I leaned over to get some video, and I think Kaylee did too, and we got a lot
We all
of
got off,
face.
and we're like trying to get little black pieces off of our faces before we turned the cameras back on ourselves.
So there is that. But honestly, the rides are, I would say, if you're a big coaster enthusiast, there's a lot of coasters there. But there's also, this is a perfect transition, there's also a lot of really great live entertainment. The second day we were there, we were deliberately trying to move a little bit slower. So we were doing all the live shows we could get in. We were seeing a lot of street performers, some of which we saw on day one as well. And then we were trying to do like the lower key attractions. And I will say, this is a photo from the Gazillion Bubbles show that we saw, which was, you would think from the name, it's ridiculous. And it sounds like it's for kids.
It is ridiculously awesome.
It's ridiculously awesome. It sounds like, and it was advertised to us too by two different people, completely unrelated, both of them saying it sounds like it's for kids, but adults will love it. And they were absolutely right, because it was a wild show.
I mean, this guy was hosted in like Vegas and stuff. Like, he's been around in Tokyo and like all across the country for sure with his show. So, you know, it was well worth it.
I missed that one.
It is the most,
I missed that
probably
one,
the most naturally beautiful park. I would probably agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this guy, I mean, will it be in? Yeah. Because because
we were able to film it.
Even though, like, when we were told we wanted to do this show, the staff saw like the cameras, because when you're walking around with vloggers and everyone's got their cameras, they're like, oh yeah, they'll let you film it. We're like, cool. Well, we show up and they play like a little video that's like no photography, no filming, or it's like, oh, okay.
Started to put it away.
And then the guy comes out and was like,
just forget about that.
He's like, you can film, you can take pictures.
Actually,
I love
it. What he said was, I know they said at the beginning, don't take photos or videos. You can ignore that. Do as you like. And I was like, woo, party! Pulled out all the stuff.
It was so
Someone tells me to do as I like. I'm catching video from every angle. But it was well worth. I would say if you go during the summertime and this show is there, this show was resuscitated this year. Apparently it was last there in 2017. Yeah. So it's been a minute. But if you happen to be there, if they bring the show back next year, or if you're going anytime this year,
or if you
don't sleep on it.
Traveling somewhere and you see a Gazillion Bubbles show, go. It was so cool.
Yeah, definitely tons of coasters now. I think we claimed 9 credits in all, including the kiddie coaster, which, you know, sane adults might not want to ride, but we're not sane adults. So 8 coasters of adult orientation. And then we had Big Bear Mountain announced this week. Right. So that'll be coming as well.
So I guess that'll be their 10th.
The other live show that we saw was I always say it wrong. So you just say
it was the Dreamland Dine-In.
Dreamland
Dine-In, but it was at the something theater that sounded like a drive-in theater. I don't know. There's a lot going on with alliteration in Dollywood. The show is called Dreamland Dine-In.
Yes. Dreamland Dine-In, and it's
Dreamland Dine-In. Yeah. Apparently, it has been running since 2008. They said
2006. I think
2006.
It's been like 15 years.
There's been many iterations of the show, and I think the music is consistent. It's got a narrative. I'm not going to ruin it for you, and our vlog doesn't either. By the way, we did capture this as well, and we got to actually talk to some of the actors and whatnot, which was really fun. The narrative made us all cry.
Yeah. It's basically just like reminiscing back through several like decades of music, and like there is a story and it follows like a bunch of friends. So it starts out, I guess, in the 50s. I think it was in the 50s, like 1958, and it goes, I think, about 20 years maybe of music. So it's all like covers of popular songs. And honestly, there may have only been like one song I didn't know. They're all very like they're like your comfort songs,
Right.
like the songs that your, parents and grandparents listen to. And the costumes are great. Every decade they have to change their clothes.
Telling the story of growing up
Yeah.
through musical
And
eras.
it's a drive-in, so you can actually like bring your drinks and
Oh
popcorn
yeah,
into the theater.
they have
with
like
you.
a popcorn bar in the theater,
Yeah,
which
so you
runs
can-
as an actual.
And the show
popcorn
is
bar.
not like both of these shows. Like the Bubble show was like 45 minutes. The Dreamland Dine that may have
maybe
been
30.
I think it was longer than
You think
30
it's longer than
minutes.
30?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it was like 45.
I didn't
minutes.
videotape every single minute of it, so I don't
Yeah.
have a good length.
Like, because I remember like thinking about the time we got out of there, I was like, wow, I feel like I just went through a time machine.
Let's do the time.
That song was not.
That song was not it, but that's what you made me think of.
But yeah, very, very good. What are your thoughts on the Dreamland Dine-In show, Kaylee?
I
And
liked it.
I don't think we talked about it.
Oh, yeah, in the Bubble show. I liked both of the shows. I always like when they like incorporate music, especially in the decades. So I thought the show was really, really good. The drive-in show. And also the Bubble show was like awesome. Like Tim and Katie said, you think it's like for a kid when you hear about it. Because I remember hearing it, I was like, this sounds really goofy. But it was really good. And your clothes and your body and your phone will get like soapy, and it rained like right after, which is like we were all like
so we were, like,
sudsy.
Sudsy.
We were literally
Yes.
like soap growing off of our bodies.
Yeah, but other than that, like it was great.
Yeah, it's
So,
worth it. You just
It is worth it. It just
Yeah.
was bad timing for us because then it started raining
we
and we're
had
like,
like
oh,
our
I was
sunglasses
sticky.
like on our heads, and they became like super soapy. And I just like had to take mine to like the sink and just they're cheapo sunglasses. I just like washed them off. But yeah, the phone I was like, oh, I guess they'll just.
I'm super
this
glad that they did say go ahead and film if you want to, because the show, the Bubble show at least as well, but also the Dreamland show, they're both so photogenic. Like there's not
Oh,
a bad
yeah.
seat in the house, and every light is coordinated just so. So like if you got your phone out, I'm not saying keep your phone out the entire time because that's going to be disturbing to others. But if you want to take a couple of pictures, there's no wrong time to do it.
Yeah.
Every shot is going to
I
turn
mean
out
the
beautiful.
production value of both shows was fantastic, but like the Dreamland Dine-In, like you didn't realize this, but there's a live band tucked behind the set,
Yeah.
and like the music was so good, I just assumed it was recorded, but it's not.
I thought it was the actual songs from
And
like they were just
So
instrumentalized.
I mean, I was just like, every time we saw something, I was just like, dang, that Dolly, she just
Dolly does
gets
live
ya.
entertainment well.
She just
He
gets
really
ya.
does. And the rides at Dollywood are pretty good. So, this brings us to what should be the end, but isn't because the slideshow is crapping out. We did get some questions from social. I posted a little inquiry to see if anyone had any questions about our Tennessee trip across the board, whether Dollywood or otherwise. And we got a few. I've pre-answered some of them, knowing full well what everyone's favorite things were, but some of them, were
my
too big.
face.
Some of them we'll have to see. Favorite coaster at Dollywood. We have two answers for this because two of us went on a bunch of coasters, one of us went on a few coasters, and I think we have similar favorites, but I wanted to give us each a chance to speak to what we enjoyed and didn't enjoy. So I will say, and Jay, I don't know if you're still on. It's fine if you're not, but this is going to shock you, I think. Our favorite, Katie and my coaster from all of the ones that we did that day, it's not in fact Lightning Round. It was
It was the
Thunderhead, which is huge for me because I'm not a huge wooden roller coaster guy. This thing, this is the first coaster we've ever been on that flies back through the station mid-course,
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
It wasn't even like, when you pull a ride back and it goes back through the station like that.
Not like a boomerang.
It had a separate entrance where it comes
Yeah.
rolling through the station at speed, and it was so wild. It was amazing.
interacted very well with all of the elements
Oh my
around
gosh.
it. And I will say, we're not a huge fan of like whippy rides that jerk you around. This wooden roller coaster, which is why I don't like wooden roller coasters
Yeah.
as much usually, because they are very whippy.
And sometimes they can be different rides depending on the day, whether it's a cold day, a warm
Yes,
day, or whatever.
this was a very hot day with some pockets of rain. And we went on this coaster just after nightfall, right before the party on the other side of the map. And this thing was flying. Like we were hovering over the rails.
Oh my gosh.
On those turns. It was wild.
Yeah. I can see how people might not like it, but
I definitely understand.
It just took our.
I'm king of the not liking wooden coasters.
It took our breath away because it was like the last like coaster. Well, technically it wasn't the last one we did, but it was the last good one.
The last big coaster.
Big one that we did.
And we were literally just jumping on it quickly to get the credit.
And there was no line for it, and kids were just getting right back on it. Like they were marathoning this thing. So I
would have too if we weren't pressed for time. But we were trying to get to the party.
We did get in the front row, and we went, and it was phenomenal.
I think best coaster experience we had at Dollywood. Now, having said that, though, Blazing Fury was another favorite. And this one, there is a neat story, which I think if I scroll way back,
someone talked about the hat.
It was Jay.
Someone said nice Pokemon hat.
Yep. And I'm gonna find it if it takes me the rest of the night. There we go. Cool Pokeball hat, Tim. So, hey, fun story about the Pokeball hat.
Where did you buy it?
I bought this at the island, at the Kryptonite character store in the market. I loved it, and I was like, I don't know if you've noticed this about me, particularly in vlogs. I like to have like matching outfits. So I had this like pinkish red shirt and black backdrop, and I was like, ooh, a nice little like red black. And I was like, you know what, this will go great with my Dollywood outfit. So I went ahead and put it on my head, rolled around Dollywood with it all day, made a great vlog. At the tail end of the day, we went on Blazing Fury for the second time. And
this is on day one.
On day one. The first time, I was not in the front row. I think Kaylee and Katie were in the front row, and I was in the back row. I was wearing my hat.
In the second row.
Second row.
Yeah.
You were in the second row?
You said back.
You were in the second row.
Right. Back of the first car, second row. Yeah, I was not in the back row. Either way, the wind was different. So I didn't experience whatever they experienced in the front row. Blazing Fury is an indoor dark ride coaster. It is 80% dark ride, 20% coaster, give or take. And the 20% is a little bit more intense than I would say you would expect it to be. It's not more intense than like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disney World, but it's
you're not expecting
it, and you drop in the dark, so you don't know when it's coming. You can kind of feel it coming once you've been on the ride a couple of times. But we went the first time, had no issues, loved the ride so much that we were like, we're going to do that again before we leave. And we did. One of the last things we did before we left Dollywood for the day on day one was go for a second time on Blazing Fury. Now, the first time, as stated, I was in the second row. Katie and Kaylee were in the front. Blazing Fury is one of the few rides at Dollywood where we had ride op permission to take cameras on. They say you can take cameras on, no flash, try to hold on to them really tight. So Kaylee got the POV the first time. The second time, I was like, well, I got my good camera. I'm going to double wrap it around my hand, and we're going to get a good POV. So I sit in the front row, and lo and behold, first drop, fire in the hole.
It hits me in the face
Like,
in the
that's
dark.
That's literally what happened. The wind came up underneath, and it went whoop. Never happened to me before because I'm not used to wearing big hats like that.
And I'm like trying to feel around for it back behind me. It's gone. And I'm like, Tim, you lost your brand new hat.
I'm in the middle of a POV, and I'm trying to be as quiet as I can be in case I decide to use the footage for like a clean cut POV. And
I don't think it was clean.
It was not clean. I was like, oh, bleep, 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 bleep.
Shoot. But he didn't say shoot.
And then Kaylee is next to me going, woo! And I go, well, my hat's gone.
I didn't even hear you guys.
What? I'm like, my hat's gone. And then from behind us, Katie's like, I had it for a second, and now I don't know where it is.
And it was dark, and by the time like light shone like at my feet, I was like, nope, it's gone.
It's gone. So, yeah. That's a key lesson. Don't wear your hats on Blazing Fury. I genuinely
You didn't wear them on any other ride.
It was so gentle the first time for me. I thought that I was clean and clear. They didn't tell me to take them off. And my glasses were fine, but that wind on the first drop, just the momentum, I guess, it got me. So
They
I
had a
lost
whole
the
hat
hat
box
for a
though.
day. We went back to Lost and Found the next day. Weren't able to find it. They said, sorry, it's not here. And I was like, okay, no worries.
And I told him to ask the people at Blazing
She
Fury.
did, because we went to do Blazing Fury one more time on day 2 just to see, number 1, if we could get a nice fun ride on it, but number 2, to see if it was there. And lo and behold, the guy went back into the office and he's like, I got a whole bin of hats. Here's yours. Yeah.
Yep.
So
It
if you lose
returned.
something, first of all, don't wear your hat on Blazing Fury. But second of all, if you do lose something on Blazing Fury or any other ride, just let the ride ops know so that they can document it. If it doesn't make it to Lost and Found at
They
the front
might
of the
still
park,
have it.
they may have it in bins at the ride itself. So that having been said, Blazing Fury was a phenomenal attraction. Would totally do it a 4th time
It's
or a 5th time or a 6th
Very
time.
charming, reminiscent of like if you've ever been to Knoebels.
Yeah, I was feeling Knoebels.
the Black Diamond Mine ride.
It's a little more
um,
advanced than the Black
it's
Diamond.
longer
It's longer and it's
and
got more
steeper,
drops.
But that's what it reminded me of. So it's definitely a classic. It was probably been around since long before Dolly bought it.
And again, we have it on Ride Op Authority that this is one of the few rides where you're allowed to take the cameras
camera.
on. The others,
But hold
include-
on to
yeah.
them.
You have to ask. I mean, the coasters, no. Just
Don't
you
ask.
can't. You don't need to ask. No, the answer is no. But some of the slower rides, like the cars and the train ride, you can definitely take video on those
The
attractions.
little
Yeah.
when you hated the river one,
Yeah.
the rapids one, I took a gamble.
Authorize that as a hey, you're allowed to do it.
Well,
Right off
they
did see
saw
you with the
my
camera and They didn't see
camera.
me mine, but
They didn't tell me no.
they didn't tell you no.
So I was
Yeah,
going
yeah.
with it.
Excellent footage of the Rapids ride.
It
I'm
was great.
very
It was
excited.
so worth it.
We did not get a hard okay, no problem from the ride ops. That was fine. We did. I mean, they didn't. They just didn't.
I feel like if
They saw the camera and they didn't do anything,
holding
is
a
all there
camera,
was.
they'd be like, nah, but it was one of
It was
It was a
GoPro.
GoPro on my
Yeah.
wrist. Yeah, it was strapped in. And it was like, I mean, I feel like I did it on, I also filmed like that when we went to Cali and we did the ride there. And I mean, I know it's a different park, but
Yeah.
I feel like those rides are generally, especially like if you have a wrist strap, they're not gonna care.
I mean, for
but
sure, they are more concerned with people rolling around with their phones.
yeah.
yeah.
They're more concerned about phones and
Loose articles in any.
I honestly probably wouldn't do it with my phone or a camera, like a proper
No, you'd
camera.
be
I would
smart
have
not
not
to.
I
done
mean,
it.
But a lot of
honestly,
people
that
would.
was one of the rides where they were like, yeah, you can bring your bags on, but they're going to get wet. So I guess he just was like, that's an article strapped to your body, you know.
And
Yeah.
in point of fact, since we're already on this anyway, favorite non-coaster at Dollywood was another question from social, and I can't say I enjoyed this as much as my companions.
But it
did.
was the circumstances that.
It was the
Yeah.
circumstances.
So we mentioned that we had met like a really nice family from Texas. That was a lovely couple and their young daughter, and I think the husband's mother were at Dollywood the first day we were there, and we actually met them on the Dolly trolley on the way back to DreamMore, and just got into a conversation that literally didn't stop until we parted ways to go to our rooms. Like, we're talking to them on the trolley,
Lovely people.
all the way through the lobby, into the elevator, up the elevator, and we were like, oh, we're staying at the same place, but we probably won't see them again. Well, we did. We saw
The following day
Yeah.
at Dollywood, we saw them, and that was their adult day.
yeah,
out, the
mom and
couple,
dad went
so-
for just a couple of, some ride time, and they were saying they wanted to do the rapids, and Kaylee and I were like,
And I was like,
let's do the rapids.
Let's
with our
do it.
friends."
I can't say no to these wonderful people we've just
And-
met.
Yeah.
We do want to shout out that Josh, the dad, looks like Jason Momoa. He does, and he's been told that by other people, so it's not just us.
Yeah.
So we kept calling him Aquaman. So he got into the boat, and he's like, "What did he say, Kaylee? Just so you know, I'm not getting wet, y'all."
Oh yeah, and he like did not for majority
did
of
not.
it.
We got like a little.
Me and
quarter of a
Karina,
second.
his wife, got soaked.
I
I was
listen.
so wet. at the end of it. I was so wet.
I figured out and instantly when I chose my seat, I was like, I know I can kind of see the way this is going to turn on its way out of the station. I might not make it all the way through, but you all are going to take the first 2 hits. And that is exactly what happened. And I was so happy about it until I got mine.
Oh, you got slammed.
I got mine real bad. The first dip, I think, is the worst on the rapids. This particular rapid.
It was bad. That was the one that got my entire backs, like my pants and my backside.
The bottom of our raft had like about an inch of water.
I feel like that always happens. But Kaylee,
I didn't start that way.
Kaylee and Karina got hit.
Like, got hit bad.
Immediately drenched.
Yeah. And my favorite part was that y'all were talking and having a wonderful conversation, and I could see it coming. And I waited until you were almost about to get hit to be like, hey, Kaylee.
Me and Karina were talking. We were having a fun time.
So
it was a wonderful time.
It was just like the perfect people and the scenario. So, like, is it the best rapids ride ever? No, probably not. The water's kind of murky and suspicious looking, honestly.
It wasn't bad, though. I mean,
but it was fun. And if you're in a boat with fun people, you're going to have a good time.
I would say as rapids rides go, Dollywood is actually quite scenic. It's maybe not the most, I think Grizzly River Rapids at Disney California Adventure is probably the most scenic of all of them that we've been on so far. I don't like rapid rides to begin with. But this one, I think it does have merit in its own right without the context of company.
It does. I will say for like just watching people go by, it has some really nice vantage points and really pretty spots to look at it too. So, yeah.
Favorite meal of the trip?
Aunt Granny's.
Aunt Granny's.
It was delicious.
I couldn't get any pictures. I did a Google search on the actual pictures. I couldn't find anything that mirrored our setup. We did Southern fried chicken.
So for context, it's a family style.
Yeah,
so
you choose entrees and you choose sides, and then they're bottomless.
We went with 2 entrees and I think 4 sides was our meal.
We did Southern fried chicken
and the pork loin.
Yeah,
that was good too, but it wasn't
not
as memorable.
It wasn't the fried chicken.
I thought it was really good though. I really did. I liked both.
Yeah.
We got green beans, the mac and cheese. Was it mashed potatoes?
And the corn pudding.
So, honestly, very similar to what we got at Paula Deen's, but this it's better.
Yeah. It is better. All the food was good.
Yeah. And then we all got a dessert, and I got a delicious piece of key lime pie, which was so good. You had cookies.
I did.
Warm
and the warm cookies were soft.
And Kaylee, you got pudding? Was it pudding?
I had pudding, and it was. I mean, it wasn't anything like spectacular, but I mean, like you can't do a pudding wrong. I mean, it was good pudding. It wasn't.
We were told by our friends Josh and Karina that the cobbler there was not great, which is probably what at least one of us would have gone for, but we were told, skip it, of better things. So
I trust him.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Trust Aquaman with my life.
Best show of the trip.
You know my vote.
Yeah.
I mean, Pirates. If we're going to count all the shows, it's
all the shows. Not just Dollywood, but across the whole trip.
I think the best show at Dollywood is probably the Dreamland Dine-In because it's consistently there. The Gazillion Bubble Show is a travel.
I was going to say, if Gazillion Bubbles was there all the time,
you're not going to count.
You're
not going to count on that one always being there. But Dreamland Dine-In is an establishment by now. But this pirate show. I get it if you want to do the Dixie Stampede, it's an institution, but if you've done Dixie Stampede before and you want something different,
Pirates.
Yeah, I told them. I was like, I've done Dixie Stampede before, and this is better in my opinion. I mean, everyone can have their own opinion about it. Yeah. And I do like the Stampede a lot. But no, it's so like for me and what I like, it is so much better. The Pirates show.
It's so fun. And like we got involved. They had kids doing stuff in the show. Like at one point they had kids in a boat and you had to like pull the kids. Some of like the dad had to like
the dad.
And then any kid that participated got one of Dolly's books for free. Because most people know Dolly Parton's huge into reading and supporting children reading in libraries and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
Plus, there were ducks.
Plus, there were ducks, there were sea lions, there were dogs, there were so many animals. There were birds. The birds.
There were birds.
And
Pirates.
Anyway,
Pirate
I just want to go watch that show again, guys.
I do too. The next, that's not one that you do every night. It is kind of pricey. But
no. But
if you go on a longer trip to Pigeon Forge and or Dollywood, you got to make at least one of the Dolly Parton shows in Pigeon Forge part of your trip.
And Kaylee can comment on this as well. The food is nothing to write home about.
It's not.
You're not being
It's
served.
the same food essentially as the Stampede. It's about
your
the same.
chicken leg and some potato thing and whatever. And you can buy alcoholic beverages or fancy drinks if you want. They do have like a fancy pirate souvenir cup, which honestly was tempting because it was kind of cool.
Well, next time we'll get the pirates.
Yeah. But the food, but you don't care because you're just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Much
you barely have time to eat because there's so much stuff to look at. So anyway.
And now I have no slides for this, guys. I hope you've thought about it.
This was hard to think about because there were so many different things that we did. Like, I love the escape games. Those were so fun.
But you can do those other places.
But you can do those other places.
Yeah.
I do think one of my favorite I think of one of the core memories is going to be when we were out at the hot tub watching the fireworks the last night.
That was how we ended our vacation.
And we ended up meeting up with Josh and Karina and the family again, and we just were hanging out watching the fireworks from Dollywood in our favorite.
And the funny
hot
thing
tub.
is, they were headed back the following day too, so it was all of our last days in the area, and so it was kind of like an end cap to everything we'd done, which was really nice.
We also did not intend to end up in the hot tub together. That was a totally random
That's the
thing.
third time we just ran into it.
We had already split up, and that was the craziest thing ever. Of we just turned around and we're like, oh my gosh,
Aquaman! Jumping into the hot tub.
That was fun. That was a fun time.
People you meet on vacation.
That's what I was gonna say. Kaylee and I had this mantra the whole trip because we would both I had introduced her to this fiction book called The People We Meet on Vacation, or people. Is it We Meet or You Meet? I think it's The People.
The People We
You
Meet on
introduced her
Vacation.
to it.
Well, I'm just trying to, but
Yeah.
I think it's The People We Meet on Vacation. So the whole week, I think Jay mentioned this earlier, Southern hospitality or whatever. It's just, with the very rare exception, almost everyone we interacted with, whether they were, locals or staff of the places we were at, whether they were other tourist families, like our escape room buddies, and, this family we met at DreamMore, everyone was just wonderful and very nice. And I just felt like the whole week we were just man, the people we meet on vacation,
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that's my favorite part, was just the amount of strangers we interacted with that I walked away going ooh, that felt good. Between the escape room family, Kaylee and I were talking to this lovely woman who worked at Dollywood for a little bit, who was very, very sweet. And Cricket. And it just seemed like most of the people we talked to enjoyed what they were doing, especially at Dollywood and DreamMore staff. I mean, there was one moment where we got spooked by a fiddle player who was playing behind us.
That scared me
while we were filming, and we talked to her for a little bit, and the people who ran the s'mores. I don't know, I'm rambling, but I think my favorite part of the whole trip was the people we met on vacation. I'm gonna say that.
Well, if you can generalize like that and put everything in buckets, then I'm going to say the live entertainment was probably my favorite part of the whole trip.
I think that's a good answer.
Across the Bubble Show and all of the street performers in Dollywood and the Pirates Voyage and just everyone that we interacted with at the end of the Dreamland.
All those performers.
Yeah, the performers came down to the stage to meet and talk with people, which I thought was really cool. Everyone felt on stage very down to earth while still being just an absolutely incredible performer. We got to talk to some of the Pirates Voyage people too, because we were in the show, which was not something that everyone else can say.
They were totally cool. I got to high five a couple of them.
We high-fived a couple of them on our way in.
Very athletic looking young men.
Oh, they were good looking. They were good looking people. But yeah, I would say just the caliber of live entertainment across everything Dolly owns and everything she doesn't I was just blown away. I was not. I was expecting it. I mean, I'll be honest. I was looking forward most to Dollywood at the end of our trip, but what we front loaded was the Pirates Voyage, and everything we did on the island was great too.
Yeah.
And then getting to Dollywood, I honestly think the second day we were there, when we were more chill, was probably my preferred.
Oh, that was
day.
my favorite day over the first day, definitely.
We had a lot of fun on the first day,
Yeah.
but it was also very hot and rainy. We were chasing.
It was so
know
hot.
that when we're not chasing coaster credits, or we could have done it differently if we weren't so concerned about this rain. Like, take it slow. If you got a couple days there, if you get like 3 or 4 of the coasters done, save them for the next day.
We had
absorb a little bit more.
Pockets of rain. Then we were very confident at the time that the next day was going to be 100% rain all day, which didn't actually turn out to be the case.
It was actually better.
But we didn't know that, so we were rushing a little bit. I would just say, to summarize, the live entertainment really made my trip, and I would go back to Pigeon Forge and Dollywood just for shows and ride rides while I'm there. Is probably the way I would look at it for the next time.
Kaylee.
I will be very generic with mine too, which is I really felt like on this trip, more so than any trip I think I've ever taken in my life, that I just felt like, I'm all in the.
You seem
I didn't realize.
Dramatic.
Okay. I felt like I was at home more, like, and I don't know. I just felt like very happy. Like when we were at the Margaritaville, like it felt like a dream to be there. And to be like, I loved the rooftop, like they had the pool and the bar, and at nighttime, it like the lights were so pretty and all the food was good, all the entertainment was good. It just was like a dream come true. And then I was kind of sad to leave and go to DreamMore because I just loved it at Margaritaville so much. And it just felt like, honestly, like going to summer camp, and it was like so homey, and I loved DreamMore like just as much, but for different reasons. But it just was an awesome trip. Like, me and Katie got to we did like a camp day and just like all this fun stuff, and like had s'mores and then like, Katie was saying, like the people we meet on vacation, like we got to meet some really amazing people, and I found my love for escape rooms. It just was like, honestly, one of the best trips ever. And there really wasn't anything really that was bad about it, for the most part, other than the heat. So I don't know. It's just like the perfect, honestly, one of the best vacations I think I've ever been on in my whole life, where I just felt like I was at home. So
I also felt like it was such a good vacation.
It was
great. It was so great. I was not expecting to enjoy that week more than being in Disneyland, which is one of our favorite places, but I really do think because the trips were not that far apart. Not that trip wasn't beautiful in itself and they're so different. Like, how do you compare? But Kaylee's right. It just, the vibe was just, it was, we were doing so much and having so much fun, but I still felt like, I don't know, I was getting good sleep. It was a more chill vacation.
It was chill. We did spend much more time in the pool than I think of any vacation we've ever been in.
No airplanes or anything like that, which air travel is just stressful.
Yeah. If it wouldn't have been hot, like really the day we went to the the little sky bridge, and then the first Dollywood day, those were like the two hottest. Like those were the days I felt like the heat was like taking it out of me. Like I just felt so drained. And then like thankfully the rain had come, and like that helped so much. But honestly, if it wouldn't have been hot those 2 days, I would say it was like a pretty perfect vacation.
Yep. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
And that,
we're wrapping things up, guys. I know it's been a long one.
To our final. Well, it wouldn't have been.
I know we did have to toggle this.
Getting to the end.
So many technical difficulties. I was trying to keep my word. We're still a minute and a half faster than our California trip report. So I'm gonna try to wrap it up here. Creator Spotlight this week, guys. Ride the Teacup, someone that we met on the Disney Nerdy Network when we were on with Gene and Joey. YouTube and Instagram are our preferred platforms, and he's been doing a lot of really analytical stuff on Disneyland, why rides are good, bad, why they are improving or getting worse. So there's a lot of fun stuff to check out on his channel. It's
And
very,
it seems like this is a family man. He has kids, and I think he likes to be able to he wants to have a channel that you can introduce your kids to certain rides and see if they're interested, or maybe it's too scary. Just to kind of give them a taste before you get in the line. And because I think Kaylee was with us when we've seen kids be too scared to ride a ride. So anyway.
Yep. Adults in Disney, we've been following for a long time. Most people probably have heard of them. They were one of the earliest Disney accounts that we started following. And they do a lot of Disney parks, but they also do fun other stuff. So they've been to Alani, they've been to the international Disney parks, and they've stayed at most of the Disney resorts and have explored other attractions in those areas. So really fun to look at. YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And then Unfriendly Hero is one that I personally have been following for a little while. I wanted to add this guy to the list because as we get closer to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando, you're going to see a lot of really cool shots from him. Professional photographer that rolls around the grounds and gets the best of everything spooky. So we are going to be doing a lot more spooky content headed into September and October. We are gearing up now. And I am glad to say that we are caught up on our regular live stream interval at this point. So you will not have a live stream from us next week. It will be the following week. And that will be beating the theme park crowds, which I just kind of decided would be
I don't know what the plan is.
We have lots of ways to beat the theme park crowds. Let's be honest. When do you ever have a plan for these live streams? I
don't know. I guess because we've already done beat the line passes or whatever.
We can tie it to the line. This is a conversation for next week.
Yes.
In the meantime, guys, I do want to thank Kaylee for joining us on this stream, which is inevitably longer than all the other ones. I tried. I really did.
It's really hard to
summarize.
I tried.
Memories are a hard thing to stifle.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you tuning in, and we appreciate everyone who stuck it out to the end. I know some of the people who started the live stream might be asleep now because it is getting late. Yeah. But we appreciate anyone who stuck it out, anyone who joined middle or end. We welcome you all, and we will see you all next time. So for tonight, I'm Tim.
I'm Katie.
I'm Kaylee from Fantasmic Fandoms.
And every day
is a new
adventure.
I'm sure we said that at the same exact time.
Probably did.
We know our formation.
We know the formation. All right, y'all. Tennessee vlogs start this Thursday. We'll see you then. Good night, everyone.